All right, so here we are. I don't know about you, but I played a D&D game tonight and feel like talking about D&D for a little bit. So I'm here with Dave from Nerdarchy. Obviously, you guys know who I am. I'm Juice from, well, other direction. Phew, there we go. Juice, Tabletop Gaming with Juice from the RPG One Shot group. And yeah, so how you doing, Dave? What's going on?
I'm doing good. I'm Dave with Nerdarchy.com for nerds by nerds. Um, I did not play D&D tonight, although I did a lot of geek and nerd stuff. So
What all do you
I
do?
had a full day. We had a local event here. They had the very first one back in April, and it was so successful they decided to do another one, in the fall, which was today. And it was a lot of like indie board game designers, comic books, cosplay, like nerdy geeky comedy troops, like all kinds of crazy stuff. It's called South Jersey Geek Fest. It was a blast. The first one I went to was it was fun, but this one, it was even more fun because at the last one I met a bunch of people, so they're like all there again. So it's like you're like there doing the event, but you're like kind of hanging out with friends at the same time. So it was really cool.
Yeah.
Um, Although it's not D&D, friends of ours, Cardboard Fortress, you can find them on Facebook. They have this game called Kobolds, and it's got like 10 classes, so it's very kind of like D&D with certain abilities, and you got this town scenario going on where the kobolds are trying to overrun the town,
Mhm.
and it's one of those games where you're really not supposed to win, but
Right.
I think Nerdarchy cheats or something because we win way more often than we're supposed to. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I hear you. Welcome, AJ. What are you doing tonight?
Nothing, man. What's up?
Nothing. I just got done playing D&D with my Pathfinder to 5th edition group. It went awesome. This is not the same group as we talked about before. This is a different one. This one has Nate, who's WASD20 on YouTube. So anyone watching this, go subscribe to him too. He's got like 280 subscribers, only been doing this for a few months. His videos are awesome. He gets more views per video than me with twice as many subs. So that should tell you something. Good guy, really good.
Yeah, his videos are good. I enjoy them. I can't wait to
Yes.
see the school thing that he's working on. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, he asked me to help him out with that too, so I was pretty excited about that. I think that'll be next January, so a year from January. So yeah, but no. So we played. I filmed a recap video. That's why it was so late getting on here. And I've decided I need to type up every single spell from the player's handbook, so that I have it all in a Word document. I can just copy and paste people's spells so they have spell sheets instead of buying all the spell cards multiple times. Um, and I'm just going to do it like down the list. I'm going to do cleric spells first, all the druid spells, eldritch knight spells, because those are a pain to try and find if you've tried to find
Hmm.
those, because they only get two types. I think it's abjuration,
And Evo.
yeah, and evocation spells, and
Yeah.
it has to be from the wizard category as well.
Yeah. That's one of the few peeves I have about fifth edition is the way they organize the spells. Because I like it when they list them by school, and I like when you turn to the spell and it says what level it is for what class. Instead, I have to flip back and forth between the list and the spell and go, "Oh, this is really cool," and then flip back, but oh, I can't cast that. You're like, I was like a kick in the nuts.
Yeah, I have a cheat sheet that I printed out. That's
Yeah.
the, well, I photocopied it. It's the spell sheets, which obviously is from pages 207, I think, through 211. So I printed that so I could cheat a little bit, but still, it doesn't help you when it comes to like what school it is, or um, if an Eldritch Knight can use it or not, which would be
Right.
from the school. So, yeah, so I just think typing it up will make it a lot easier.
I thought of you guys earlier today. I saw something that made me think of you guys
Yeah.
because I know you guys are a crafty couple of gamers. I am not. But at the event I went to, they had a 3D printer, and I was like, man, that's really badass. I would totally do terrain that way.
How heavy would the pieces be, though? What's it make it out of?
Dude, they can do it with like almost like a paper mache. They can do it with like a plastic. They can do it with metal. They can do it with wood. Dude, it's insane.
Oh, wow.
I was looking at it because I was like, man, we could get some Nerdarchy stuff made up. Either maybe like some logo stuff or our goblins.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty impressive. It's not that it doesn't seem that expensive. It's just expensive to buy the printer.
Right. Yeah, the paper mache would be sweet because it'd be nice and light. If you
Yeah.
get it dense enough that it would still be durable, that'd be real cool.
No, it does seem pretty durable, but I think even the plastic wouldn't be that heavy.
Right. Yeah, as long as it's that certain type of plastic. There's some plastic that's a little more heavy, but I could see some light plastic working too.
Well, it'd be hollow. It'd be hollow too. So
Yeah, you could do that.
if you got arches or columns or stuff like that, I would just build them hollow, so they would stay light. And obviously you want to use less material anyway.
Mm-hmm. What about the custom miniatures? I've seen some people starting to do that. That would be cool because then you can customize your hero to be what you envision him.
I just saw an article. I didn't actually have a chance to look at it, but I just glanced at it, and I was like, they're doing that, the 3D printed minis, and I don't know who was putting it out. I don't know who did it. I just saw. I was like, wow, that's pretty badass.
It has to be expensive unless you submit your own 3D model of it, because I mean, to do just one miniature like that as a manufacturer, you would have to take the time to design it and then print it. So you'd have to charge for the labor.
Well, yeah, there's a setup fee. Like any kind of printing, there's always a setup fee.
Right.
Which you only pay that once, but obviously if you're having a custom made mini for your guy, so like you're only going to get the one. So yeah, it is probably going to be expensive, but it's one of those things like where else can you get it? You can't. And I don't think you have to have the three-dimensional image. I think you can give them a flat image and they'll turn it into a 3D. I mean, like that's the whole point, right?
They'll use like Poser or Daz Studio or something like that to make it a 3D image. Whatever they'd use as their modeling program.
Yeah. I'm like, well, I don't actually care. Just make it happen.
Right. That'd be awesome.
That's what you're paying for, right? Like I think he said it was like 33 cents a cubic centimeter. Is like the base cost. It's like he said generally works out to be, and for the labor it's like $5 an hour.
Wow. So you're still talking maybe $15-20.
Oh yeah. For one mini, you're right. It'd be absolutely expensive.
Well, it's $15-20 though. It wouldn't be that bad for your heroic character.
Yeah. Well.
And then the labor to do if you did a line of like 10 goblins, that wouldn't be that bad because your labor would only count towards the first one, really.
Well, your setup cost. So, I was looking. So the setup cost you would pay once, and then I was looking like if you do a run of X amount, you get like a per unit price. But they still charge X amount depending on like how much time the machine's running.
Mm-hmm.
Is kind of the deal.
Yeah, at the moment there's it's sort of a trade-off between how fine you want the detail to be and how durable you want the end product to be, and it's hard to find a reasonably priced 3D printer that gives you the good level of fine detail, like a smooth build. Otherwise, it's got a sort of a granular look to it. Same thing with, like, if you go to Shapeways, where they do all that sort of rapid prototyping thing for you. So people submit designs, you buy the designs, Shapeway builds it and sends it to you. They have certain limitations on materials and things, and a lot of their stuff that they do is made using very high-tech.
Very high-tech pause.
Yeah.
Solid chunks and things. Yeah. So you can get some crazy stuff. But yeah, I've seen some pretty...
You've seen some pause. Oh, AJ, you cut out a couple times. Only you, man.
The really heinous thing is, like, we've got fiber on my street now. So,
yeah. I was going to say, are the koala bears, are they messing with that? He's got a koala bear in the lines pulling on him.
That's funny.
Oh,
I don't
it's
even
funny
know
in
if
New
they have
Zealand we deal
koala
with it.
bears in New Zealand.
We don't. We got no marsupials apart from possums, which we brought over here for fur.
Nice.
You brought them over there? I'll take that as a yes.
He keeps cutting out. That
Yeah, I
sucks.
wish there was
This
something I could do
sucks
to.
every single time I start talking.
Are you able, try turning down your bandwidth and see if that helps.
Do you have stuff open?
He probably does.
Yeah, that might be. When I get on the chats, I generally just shut everything else down.
I usually leave up Facebook and YouTube, but I am going to exit YouTube right now. There we go. All right, there we go.
I had a very important question for AJ too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we actually asked it in one of the videos in our recap video that we shot today, but I got them right here. I wanted to know if they do Halloween elsewhere.
Oh, in other parts of the world?
Yeah,
Probably not. It's probably American.
yeah. I could have sworn on Facebook I saw a Facebook post from like Sweden or something, and they were doing like Halloween. Then the other nerd artist made fun of me, but
Nice. Yeah, so today I had to do some work. I went and showed a guy a house and went and looked at his house and stuff. So I was not able to prepare for this session again. I'm starting to become the master of no prep and just run a session. Not
improv.
really. Yeah, but not really because I'm not really that good at it. I'm usually like, yeah. Like,
I want to say right now,
something.
in 5th edition, that's kind of hard.
To improv?
Well, not so much not the improv with the story and stuff like that, with the monsters, because like if say you get an idea in your head and you're just like, I'm going to use this monster, and you open up to it, because at the low levels the lethality is so high, you're like, oh, oops.
So you want to know where I messed up today?
Yeah, lay it on me.
Let's see, lizard men. I put out like 10 goblins and called them all lizard men and had 2 others that were like the boss lizard men. Then I
Yeah,
looked in the book and realized, ooh,
they can't fight lizard men.
they could. I just had to adjust, which was fine, and I did. I didn't do multi-attacks except for like the big boss guy.
I could, except for all these lizard men happen to have multiple sclerosis and
Right, no
and a
multiple
club
attacks.
foot.
But the other one, the bigger ones, because of their shield and their spear, they were able to use the spike shield and the spear. And then on top of that, later on, I had my idea was because when they went to the mountain, they went into vampire cave. Basically, they came up against 2 scorpions. Well, I took one of the scorpions away right away after I looked and saw that they got 3 attacks and all this stuff, and I figured this is gonna be a tough battle. They wiped the floor with the scorpion.
What level's your party?
I have 2 players who just made it to 3rd level before tonight's session,
Uh-huh.
and 2 that were at 3rd level and made it to 4th level after the scorpion battle. I actually should have been before the scorpion, but I made it after.
Well,
I forgot.
yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, scorpions are a CR3, I believe. I was looking at them earlier.
Were they?
Yeah.
I don't know. I had pulled the page open and I was like, oh, they're going to get their butts kicked because 22 damage from the tail average.
Oh, yeah, that's harsh.
So they get 3 attacks. They get the 2 claws, which also are in
Grapple.
grapple,
Grab, right?
and then the spear. So they can grapple 2 people and then their tail on each person for 22 points on top of that.
Well, let me tell you something. We've been heavily looking at the animals because of
video.
No. Well, partly that, and partly because of Andrew SR2 Joker's meat grinder. Like 2 of our players want to play Druids,
Right.
because they're just like the ultimate tanks now.
They're not though. They can't. It depends on how you build it. You say they're tanks because you can turn into an animal.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. Here's the thing, right? Low levels.
Yeah.
They're huge. They have huge tanking capabilities because their hit points are so high, or so much higher if you go circle the moon.
Right, because you can switch to an animal, take a bunch of damage, and then switch back.
Yes.
Right.
But not only that, like the animals can take so much more damage. Like I think a dire wolf is like 50 some hit points.
Yeah, but it's also a CR1, CR2.
Yeah. CR1 is second level when you first get wild shape.
Mm-hmm.
So second level, that's pretty beefy.
That's interesting because everyone's referring to the bear when you're talking about a druid. Everyone's like, "Oh, you want to be a brown bear?"
If you want damage output.
Yeah, but your AC is low, so it's really easy to wither those hit points away, especially if you're trying to play a bear and
I misspoke, but
engaging with everything.
I misspoke. A dire wolf is armor class 14, not too shabby. 37 hit points.
Right.
And,
yeah, which a bear is like 37 hit points or something too.
I don't
Look
know.
it up
Let's
real
see.
quick. I got it right here, but
Me too. Black bear is a half a CR, so it's like
black bear's weak.
the black bear. Brown bear is a CR1. That's 34 hit points and AC 11. So you're going to get whomped on.
Right.
The thing with the bear is they just got a lot of damage.
Yeah, the things I liked. Somebody said in the group, "Why not just go to a giant spider?" Which actually makes a lot of sense.
I actually said that too when I was looking on. The giant spider is really good
Because you get the web and the bite, you get all sorts of different things.
poison is very versatile.
Yeah, but I like, was it the lion or the tiger? I can't remember. The lion's a CR1. You have a speed of 50 feet. You have a smell, pack tactics, pounce, running leap, bite, claw. So your bite does 1d8 plus 3, and it's a plus 5 to hit. Your claw is a 1d6 plus 3, and that's a plus 5 to hit as well. If you pounce on something, so if you move at least 20 feet straight forward a creature and then hits with a claw attack on the same turn, that target must succeed on a DC 13 saving throw or be knocked prone. If the target is prone, the lion can make one bite attack against it as a bonus action. So that's pretty good. I mean, you're going to do your claw attack, which is 1d6 plus 3 on your pounce. They go down if they fail their DC strength, and then boom, you bite them again for 1d8 plus 3. That's not bad. And then your party now can attack them while they're prone. And I would assume your bite with them being prone gives you advantage. Is it advantage or is it plus 5? I can't remember.
I'm not sure on that one. I think it might be advantage. I think there's a very few things that give you a plus to hit.
Yeah, I can't remember. I keep forgetting a lot of the rules. The polar bear you can't get because that's a 2, CR2.
Right, you gotta be 6th level.
Which that one's pretty sweet. 42 hit points, 2d6 claw damage, and a 1d8 bite damage. Plus it's multi-attack.
Actually, you know what I found the most limiting factor was not actually the CRs, but the movements, because you got to be 4th level before you get to swim, and I think 8th level before you can get to fly. But
Yeah.
like that swim eliminates things like snakes, like the giant snakes, because they all have swim speeds.
So, we are picking up my game at 7th level on Monday from this past Monday, and Andrew's being a druid with his new character since he died last week, and he's told me he's going to probably switch to a rhinoceros a lot.
Oh yeah. We were talking about that too, man. The dungeon punch.
Yeah.
We were talking about that today and calling it the dungeon punch. You just send him in and he runs straight through, and then everyone else has to come in for the cleanup.
Yeah, with the charge and the gore.
Yeah, that charge is like 4/8 or something ridiculous.
Yeah. 20 feet straight line toward a target and hits with the gore attack on the same turn. The target takes an extra 2d8 bludgeoning damage.
Which campaign was that, man?
It's not a campaign. It's just I played a game Monday on like spur of the moment and just ran them through. Let's see.
It was a dungeon. You dropped them in the water right in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay,
and it was like a Tarrasque and a bunch of crap.
Did you say a Tarrasque?
Yeah, they fought. They snuck by a Tarrasque at one point.
They murdered a baby Tarrasque in its sleep.
No, okay. So they dropped in the water. They fought a cloaker in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went on to fight 2 displacer beasts, which again, it was just kind of like tonight. I just opened a book. With that one, it was just opening the book and whatever page I was on, that's what they fought. But no prep. And so they fought 2 displacer beasts, which I didn't do correctly. Whatever. They fought a clay golem, which I didn't do correctly. Whatever. Yeah.
I see a recurring theme.
yeah, basically. Because I don't have time to read, 6 paragraphs while I'm running combat.
Right. No one's got time for that.
I was like, yeah, I wrote AC, hit points, and damage, and then I kind of glance at everything else, and if something pops, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll use that too. But yeah, so anyway, so then they fought the 2 Displacer Beasts. After the Displacer Beasts, they took a shoot that landed in Tarrasque poop.
Oh my god! I can't believe you dropped them in Tarrasque poop.
Oh yeah, it was great.
What's that?
And then they decided to sneak around the Tarrasque as it went to sleep after pooping again, right where they were. They got into another room where a steel door closed behind them. They fought a Gorgon where they couldn't escape. They beat the Gorgon pretty easily because I gave them +5 weapons before the Tarrasque poop. Before the shoot. I gave them all +5 weapons and somebody +5 armor. Because I knew I wanted to throw a Tarrasque at them. And so anyway, so then they fought the Gorgon, whooped it, and then a Baylor split the top of the cavern open, and they fought a Baylor. When the Baylor exploded, we had only 1 survivor. So, because they beat the Baylor, and then 1 person survived.
Nice.
Yeah, it was sweet. What was I going to look up? I think it was a tiger. Saber-toothed tiger is a challenge 2, and that looks pretty impressive.
Yeah, they're decent.
But yeah, the tiger I think was the best one at first level.
Ted's making for the meat grinder is making a dragonborn druid.
Yeah.
That turns into a what's the water dinosaur? Plathiosaur.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Because he wants to be able to spit acid as a dinosaur.
Nice.
That was his whole motivating factor, and Andrew okayed it, so he was so happy. So I'm like, you're gonna be like flopping around through a dungeon as this half fish thing. He's like, I don't care. I'm a dinosaur. I spit acid.
That's awesome. And speaking of things like that, I've been screwing up a lot of my spell rules. So, for instance, the poison splash.
Yeah.
I was given disadvantage to my players when, so if they hit my monster with it, that monster had disadvantage. Yeah. It doesn't say anything about the poison effect in the spell.
Yeah, then it's just poison damage. Because poison's weird, where it does a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
It can be poison effect, it can be poison damage, or it can have a completely different effect.
Reoccurring poison damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was doing that wrong. I also found out recently that I allowed a kid to make, for encounters, a druid, Shillelagh, and Polearm Master at first level, which he's starting next week. But that's because he was talking to another kid who was telling him how to min-max and say, oh, yeah, you should do Shillelagh, do the 1d8 with Polearm Master because you get 1d8, 1d8. Well, it doesn't work that way. It's 1d8, and it's still the 1d4 for the second end attack. Yeah, so even though it's magical properties, it's not a 1d8 on that second hit. And I found that out tonight. Or not tonight, but I found that out the other day. And so now I feel bad because I know he spent like an hour making this druid and thinking it was going to be this, badass double hit, Well,
I mean, they're still decent.
Yeah, it's still good. It's just not. I think if he knew that the second hit was only 1d4, I don't think he would have made a druid.
Do you get your strength on that? And normally you don't when you take 2 attacks, but it's because it's a feat. I don't know.
With Shillelagh, it's your wisdom modifier, I believe, not your.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Polearm Master. Is what I'm about.
I don't know. Normally, with your second attack, you wouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know.
Rules, schmools, Polearm Master. Here we go. When you take attack with only a glaive, however, quarterstaff, you can use a bonus action to make a melee attack with the opposite end of the weapon. The weapon damage die for that attack is a die 4, and attack deals bludgeoning damage. It doesn't say that you don't. And it just says the weapon's damage die is a die 4.
But it doesn't say you do either. You can use that argument both ways.
Yeah, but you go by the general rule unless there's a specific.
Mm-hmm.
is how is how the system is worded.
Right. Yeah. So I
And
you know I'm learning a lot, which is nice because I'm running so many games. Like I feel like I'm seeing a lot of situations where I'm like, oh, I screwed that up. I screwed, you know.
and I think you have to go back to the wording too, because it says because it's not calling it an offhand attack.
Right.
Um,
It's calling it a second attack or something like that, or well, it does. It says like two-handed attack.
you can use a bonus action to make a melee attack with the opposite end of the weapon.
Yeah.
So I
And
think
that's exactly how it works normally with the other one, though.
with
So, for instance, as an attack of opportunity,
mhm.
you'd only get the 1d6 or whatever quarterstaff or whatever the first thing is. You can't do a double attack as an attack of opportunity.
Well, no, because
You don't get a bonus action.
you're not using an attack action.
Right.
Right. So you have to use the attack action in order to get it.
Right. So here's a question for you. My fighter in my game tonight, he does a great sword as his weapon. He decided to go Eldritch Knight, which I was surprised about. But he went Eldritch Knight, and one of his spells is Shield. Now it's a reactionary spell. So with a great sword, I guess, would you allow your player to do that, even though it's a two-handed weapon? I would assume that they could like hold the great sword with one hand and cast the spell real quick. I don't know if it's like a material component spell or what, though.
I don't think it is.
I don't think so either because it's a reaction.
Yeah, I would allow that. I mean, really, even if there's a thematic, you can hold the weapon with one hand. You don't have to put it down.
Right. That's what I thought. There were some other things. You'll see if you end up watching all 5 hours over the course of however long it takes you. There's a few rules things that came up in my game. Excuse me. But I'm glad all these things keep coming up because I feel like it's just going to make me better quicker. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Polearm Master, with that second attack, I'm giving them the modifier. Because reading two weapons, it specifically calls it out.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one doesn't, so.
So you'll allow it? What were you going to do? Allow the modifier on it?
I'll allow the modifier. It's only a D4 anyway.
Yeah. I'm sure it's asked. Did you read through the replies by Mike Merles on Twitter? It's compiled on N-World or whatever.
I have not.
There's a ton of stuff that people have asked.
Oh yeah,
Tons of crap. Yeah, him and some other people have responded. Some of the developers, and so there's errata that's just or frequently asked questions. That's a ton, and they've organized it pretty well. So they organize it like by spell casting, feats, just different things. It's laid out pretty well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I haven't been over an N-World in forever.
I only saw it because I asked a question about the shillelagh thing. Somebody told me. I responded to an original thread of somebody talking about how Druids are overpowered because of the animal switching thing, and it's not balanced with the rest of the game. And so I purposely, I commented and I said, "Who cares about the animals when you can do shillelagh and do 1d8 with Polearm Master?" So then somebody corrected me and said, "No, Mike Merles put the kibosh on that. Here's the thing on N-World." And so I checked that out, but yeah,
they're not gonna like what I'm doing with Ranger. Then
what are you doing?
I'm just gonna say fuck economy of actions and fairness and all that stuff. If you're a Beastmaster Ranger, your animal can just do its thing because otherwise it is the stupidest, most retardedest thing on the planet.
How's it work by the book?
Basically, it gets to use your actions.
Oh, so you can decide not to attack and make the animal attack instead?
Yes, it's super lame.
Yeah, that is pretty lame.
I think at 7th level you can, as a bonus action, you perform the help action. That's the only thing that's even remotely useful. I'm like, that is so stupid. It's who's going to want to play a Beastmaster Ranger, especially when we just did the video on Rangers today. Especially when the the hunter ranger gets all these cool things they can do. So I don't even like.
Yeah.
I guess it's a holdover from 4th edition with the action sharing, which they could have not brought that over. I would have been perfectly happy with it.
I just find it funny that everyone's so caught up in, oh, well, this is overpowered for this reason or this reason, and it's just so silly to me. Like, okay, so if you know something is overpowered as a DM, we'll just put you in the DM chair. Aren't your NPCs and monsters gonna like your more intelligent ones gonna know that in your world? So aren't they gonna focus on that thing, knowing that that could wipe a bunch of stuff out? You know, it's like, oh, you see the biggest, baddest fighter. Well, that's typically what these soldiers will go after first. Or, oh, they know that wizard is able to cast amazing spells in most situations. That's what they're going after first. Like, I guess I don't understand why so many people are worried about something being overpowered.
I don't know, especially coming from 3.5 and Pathfinder, where there was so much power creep. It's not even funny. And the spellcasting classes were so much more overpowered than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. I don't actually care. I care about what's fun. That's all I really care about. Like, and that's why I'm changing the Ranger Beastmaster, because you know what? It's not fun to play. Basically the whole purpose of being that character is because you want an animal companion, right? Well, it's not fun if either you act or the animal acts. It's so silly.
Even the wizard has the familiar spell.
Yeah. Well, the familiar. I think the familiars.
So the whatever the familiar is goes away after a period of time, correct? I didn't look it up, but my Eldritch Knight, my fighter,
no, it's permanent.
He did it. Okay, so it is permanent.
It is permanent.
Then it works on its own, then obviously.
And well, you're supposed to do the whole action thing too there, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. Especially like you got an intelligent creature, and you got to share actions with it.
It's a fey creature of some sort.
Well, you can get really cool stuff too. Like you can get a pseudo dragon or a sprite, or depending on. Although the sprite is so weak, man. I don't even get that. Like the warlock, if you go with the pack of chains, you get a familiar.
Right.
Quasit, imp, pseudo dragon, all of them give you spell resistance.
Are those listed in here?
Yeah.
This is what it says. You gain the service of a familiar, a spirit that takes an animal form you choose. Bat, cat, crab, frog, toad, hawk, lizard, octopus, owl, poisonous snake, fish, rat, raven, seahorse, spider, or weasel. So those are what you get for the Find Familiar spell.
Yes, but if you read the actual monster entries, they have the variant where you can get the better familiars. Or if you're a warlock, that's right in the pack of chains description.
Oh, okay.
And they add one that doesn't have the variant, which is a sprite, and it's horrible. The sprite is so weak.
Gotcha. So why would you dismiss your familiar? I guess I wonder. Because if it's when it drops to 0 hit points, it disappears, and you could just recast it. So basically, it reappears after you cast the spell again. So does it really matter if your familiar gets killed?
No.
So then why would you ever, dismiss it? I guess I just don't understand that.
No, because you know what you can do is you can dismiss it and call a different one.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Say you want to
dismiss it forever. As an action, while it's temporarily dismissed, you can cause it to reappear within 30 feet of you. Can't have more than one. If you cast a spell while you already have one, you instead cause it to adopt a new form. So now you can just change it. Choose one of the forms from the above list. Your familiar transforms into the chosen creature. Finally, when you cast a spell with a range of touch, your familiar can deliver the spell as if it had cast the spell. Oh, that's cool. That's probably the best thing about this. You could do a touch spell through your familiar.
Yeah. Robert's pointing out that if you get as a ranger, if your companion dies, you get another one too.
Yeah, so there's no consequences to letting your creature die, whereas there used to be.
Okay, you're an AD&D player. You're second.
Yeah.
You remember, dude? You remember? You know, well, it's probably recent
It
for
was
you.
like permanent, like
You lost a
hit
level.
die.
You
Yeah, it
lost
was
like
a
a
permanent
level and
hit die.
stuff. It was awful.
That was
If
for wizards and
yeah,
rangers.
yeah, for the wizard find familiar, like you when you got to find familiar, you just shove that thing up your ass and make sure nothing ever came near it.
Yeah, because it was almost always a weasel. Like I remember everyone using a weasel, and then it was like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna send it through this hole just to see what's in the next room, but it's gonna use stealth and it's gonna come right back and hide. That's all I remember people doing with that.
That's the same thing I was thinking. Robert Beastmaster, Dar, and the stupid ferrets.
In case you guys are wondering, Robert Ogre can't talk because his daughter's sleeping in the same room with him. So he's just typing in the side chat, and we will try and relay his messages. So, but yeah, I don't think you should lose permanent hit dice, but maybe something like you're at disadvantage for the rest of the day. That's like a grieving period, maybe. That would be cool. You know, it would make sense to me.
Well, I mean, part of it though is you can't recall it right away, more than likely, because not because you can't, but because you have to have there's a gold piece attached to it, which at higher levels isn't that big a deal, but it takes time. It's like an hour to cast that spell.
Yeah.
So
It's a ritual spell, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. I think it's a regular spell. It just has a long duration, or I mean, a long casting time.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, I don't know. But so here was the question. So they were traveling. He made his companion an owl, which is cool. And the reason he did it is because he's human. That gives him night vision. Because he can see through its eyes, or at least that's what we're assuming. Because it says you have a telepathic connection, and I didn't read the spell.
Well, yeah, you can, but when you see through its eyes, you can't see through yours.
Right. You
So
snap into a daze.
yeah, so you're kind of useless.
Right, right. So he did the owl. It is a ritual spell. And casting time is 1 hour. So you can do it without. So because it's an hour, you're never going to use up your first level slot.
Right.
Like I don't. Why even make it a first level slot? Just make it a cantrip at that point. A 1 hour cantrip.
Well, because they don't have rituals for.
But you wouldn't need to. You're never going to take an action to do a 1 hour ritual.
No, you're not gonna do an action. You're gonna take. You got.
Or to do a 1 hour anything. You're not going to do anything. You're never going to use up that first level slot. Is my point. So if you make a cantrip that takes 1 hour, it's the same deal.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. It breaks the economy of how they.
Oh, I guess to change it in the middle of something, I guess would use your slot.
Well, I think the casting time is always an hour, right?
That's what it says. That's weird. Oh, here was the other thing I found tonight that I thought was completely just dumb. Under the fighter class, right? Go to champion. You know how it gives you like that athletic, what is it? Level 7 athletic something or other?
Yeah.
It gives you an option of 3. So remarkable athlete. In addition, so you can add half your proficiency bonus to any strength, dex, or constitution check you make that doesn't already use your proficiency bonus. Oh, I was thinking saving throw. Never mind. I was going to say you already have strength and constitution. So it would always be just dex. But now I get it. It's a check, not a saving throw. That's my bad.
Yeah. So, well, you know what we found to be weird when
I just learned something in my chat.
Well, it happens. It happens to the best of us. We saw that was really weird with the ranger.
Mm-hmm.
At 20th level, he gets Foe Slayer, and basically, once per turn, you can add your Wisdom modifier to your attack roll or your damage roll against your favorite enemy.
Right.
Now, that's not a bad ability, right?
Right.
20th level. Why bother? It's like, I could have used that one yesterday.
Right.
Because, your Wisdom score. What is your Wisdom score going to be at 20th level? I mean, it's not going to be that high. Maybe a +2 or +3.
Yeah.
It's very inconsequential at that point. Maybe at lower levels that would have been great.
Well, as a ranger, is your wisdom's not even your highest thing most of the time. At least not mine. Mine would be probably dex.
Yeah, you're gonna want depending if you're a ranged or finesse character, you're gonna
Yeah.
want dex, but then right after dex is gonna be con.
But if you are focusing on being more of a spell-casting ranger, then yeah, you would want wisdom. I mean, it depends on what kind of build you're going for. For me, my wisdom would never be max, so it wouldn't matter.
Well, and that's the point we were making too. We don't think most rangers are gonna build, that to max. Let me see a good ranger spell. I thought it was called barrage, but I'm not seeing anything over here. Um, they do. One of the things though, they do have a lot of really great spells for the ranger.
Right.
Same with paladin too. They really made them thematic and fun to use. Maybe it was Hail Thorns.
Speaking of thorns, there's
Thorns.
there's a druid spell I love. It's like spike growth or something.
Okay, that was always my favorite in earlier editions too.
That is, you see, and I think I've played in a game where somebody's used it before, but I've never really paid much attention to it.
You know what? I had a DM F me over with it really good, and ever since then,
Because you went through it,
yeah,
and so he hurt you.
he hurt us. He hurt us so bad. Totally controlled the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, a range of 150 feet. So you could put it out there, and it lasts up to 10 minutes with concentration. It's a 20-foot radius. So in a dungeon, you could do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because it's supposedly nobody can see it. Which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If there's spikes and thorns on the ground, I'm going to see it. But either way, that's still cool. Yeah, so if it's a 20-foot radius, that's 4 squares they have to go through, taking 2d4 damage every 5 feet.
It's not pretty.
No, and if it's 10 minutes, all you got to do is cast that on a doorway and stay back. And let something either try to use ranged weapons on you or walk through it and just probably drop themselves, almost. Because that's 2 to 8 damage every turn, so that's an average of like a 6 or 7. 6, right? Is that an average roll of 6 or 5?
What is it? 2d8?
2d4?
Oh, 2d4. Yeah, that's like a 5 or a 6. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's taken up to 20 points of damage to just come through the doorway.
So, all right. So I guess rangers do rely on saving throws quite a bit, but I was just looking at some of their attack spells.
Right.
They're still really great.
I just feel like if I'm playing a ranger, I'm not playing a ranger
Plus
for
2.
spells. I'm not thinking of it as a spellcaster. I'm thinking of it as a wilderness survival kind of person who can also fight.
We were talking about that, and that's how we've always viewed them.
Yeah.
But in this edition, they get their spells at second level,
Mm-hmm.
and they get good spells. Like,
Right.
and a lot of their spells are like a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
Like ensnaring strike, it's just okay. You hit them with something with your normal weapon attack, and then they're restrained if they fail a saving throw. Or the Hail of Thorns is you hit someone with a ranged weapon, and then it explodes in like a 5-foot radius, hitting everyone else around it for extra damage. Or Hunter's Mark lasts up to an hour, and you just pick somebody. And yeah, it's funny because this is straight up marking from 4th edition. But as long as you have that mark on an enemy, you do an extra die 6 of damage on them.
Right.
And when they die, you can switch it, and that lasts an hour. And then it gives you bonuses to track them and for your perception and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool. I think as you like progress through this edition more and pay more attention to this stuff, you're gonna be like, oh, wait a minute, no, they're spellcasters.
Yeah. Oh no, I know they are. I just it doesn't go with my vision of them. Whoops.
Well, that's because in
I've
previous
always viewed him as more
editions.
of Aragorn before he multi-classed into fighter.
Yeah.
Which now, I mean, I've always, even in second edition, I instead of making a ranger even back then, I just went fighter specializing in bow and
Mm.
other weapons. That's how I always made my fighters if I wanted a ranger type
Well,
guy.
yeah, because in the previous editions, like your ranger was always based around the favorite enemy,
Hmm.
and it was kind
And
of
the
like
dual attack without penalty.
so it was kind of like the lamest thing because like unless that your campaign revolved around a lot of that, you didn't get your spells in second edition until much later. In third edition, you didn't get them until fourth level, and they kind of sucked. It's like, okay, well, you got a couple extra cure light wounds to throw around,
Yeah.
but you know, really, when I was in third edition, it's like, can I give away my spell casting for something else?
Hmm.
Like, can I, have an extra wolf or something? I don't know.
Or trading for a feat or something.
Can I train it for that ferret? So,
Yeah. I what was I gonna say? Oh, the I lost it. Sorry. Oh, something I've seen a lot of people mentioning too, especially in like the Facebook groups for D&D and stuff. They're like, "Oh, this edition is so much harder to min-max in power game," and I feel like it's easier because there's no reason to multi-class the power game. You just got to come up with how you want a power game. Do you want a power game because you want high armor class? Do you want a power game because you want more damage dealt? Like, what is your goal with your power gaming? And then you just do it because I feel like it's just easy with a lot of different classes. I mean, do you agree or disagree?
I kind of do agree. I mean, the system is built in a way that really does make it harder to min max it. So
Oh, okay, so you agree with them. Okay.
I do like, and you're also right with the multi-classing thing. Like, if you decide to multi-class in this edition, it's almost like you got to do it in blocks of 4 levels. If you're gonna go min max, right? You got to do it in blocks of 4 levels. And you really gotta want a multi-class in order to do it. And I'm doing it with my one character, and I have another concept that I'll probably do it with. But it's definitely the overpowered thing to do is to just straight up go one class. Maybe
Yeah.
feats or something if you want to sprinkle stuff in.
Yeah. Yeah, because it feels like, for instance, with the barbarian, let's see, at level 20, I think you can get some crazy bonus to something or other.
But yeah, your stats.
Yeah, it was like something like your strength or something. Strength and con go up to like
Yep,
24.
they can. You have to plan your stats out to make it happen. But yeah,
Yeah, so it's like you can bump it up to like 24 or 25. I can't remember. I'm looking right
24.
now.
They're both 24. The max for everyone else is 20, so that's huge.
Yeah, so that's an extra 2 on both of those. Plus, Constitution's retroactive, so that's an
Yes.
automatic 40 hit points if your con goes up to 24.
You know what? One of the characters I'm going to make for the grinder is a Hell Dwarf Draconic Bloodline Sorcerer, man. If I only using just the standard array or point buy and average hit points, 80 hit points.
What?
Yeah, that's right.
That's nuts. I
So
love it
yeah,
though.
you can power game. Look, you can power game any system, but I feel like in
Oh
fifth
yeah.
edition, you're really like trading stuff off in order to do it.
Yeah,
So
I think so too. You're either like, for instance, I made that halfling barbarian for somebody's game like a week and a half ago. Was it Ogre? I think it was Ogre's game, and I have my
yeah,
armor class as 21 at level 1.
what's that character's strength?
Low, not low, but it wasn't. It was like 13 or something.
So he sucks. So his rage sucks.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like a good plus to hit or anything at all.
Yeah, at first when I saw barbarians, I was like, oh my god, they built this for small barbarians. It's awesome.
Hmm.
But then I actually got a hold of the book and I read. I was like, oh no, they didn't.
But what do you think is more important in combat? In your honest opinion, is
Oh,
it more
armor class
important?
is huge in this edition.
Yeah, because if you're going to hit something, you're hitting it once. At first level, you're hitting it once. You might be getting hit up to 3 or 4 times around, depending on how many monsters there are. So the higher your armor class is, that bonus to your armor class is more beneficial than your bonus to hit.
Now, but here's the thing with the barbarian. The barbarian is all about dealing damage.
But at
Like
second,
even
is it second level you get that feral strike, which bumps your to hit? Is that
um,
right?
I think so. The reckless strike or whatever when they can gain advantage.
Yeah, so then it doesn't matter what your strength mod is to hit then, because now you're hitting. And if you're rage, can you rage at the same time as that?
Yes.
So then you get also a +3 to hit or to damage on top of whatever your damage bonus is. So now at second level, you have the best armor class or
Yeah.
damn near close to it.
You're gonna hit.
If you're a human, obviously you can't get to 21 with a human, but if you're a human, you may have taken a finesse fighting armor class, or actually that's how I could do it too. You take the finesse fighting feat, or
Oh, well,
damage. What is it?
you
The
can.
defensive duelist? Defensive duelist.
Yeah, you can do that, but here's what happens though when you rely on Dex as a barbarian.
Hmm.
Your rage bonus damage has to be a strength-based weapon.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
So it's a trade-off.
That's true.
That's where
very
you
true.
take the hit.
So, but or you can choose to do it as your strength based because it isn't that's an option.
It's
So
an
you can
option.
still take defensive duelist. So on defensively, you get that proficiency bonus to your armor class, which I think is what got me to 21 as the half or not as the halfling. It couldn't have been.
Yeah, you probably had a shield. You probably had a shield and a 20 Dex and a 18 con or something. Ridiculous.
Well, I didn't have a feat was my point. So I couldn't have
Yeah.
got to 21 with the defensive duelist.
No.
But as a human, you could do that if you rolled 18, 18 shield. So that's what? 4, 4 shield, that's 10.
20.
Yeah, so you're up to 20. You take defensive duelist, now it's your proficiency bonus, which is 2. You're at 22. So
But
that's
that's
still really
duelist.
awesome.
That's only against one attack, right? Because you're using your reaction.
It's a reaction, yeah.
And here's another thing, right?
How do reactions work? I was going to ask you that. Can you use that only once per turn?
Yeah,
Or
you
once
only one bonus, one reaction, one action, one move. And
round?
here's why
Okay.
you wouldn't want to do that as a barbarian. One of the barbarian's abilities later on is if you get hit, you can immediately attack them back as a reaction.
Is that which one's that?
I forget which ability it is. I just know that they get that.
Must be under one of the paths.
It could very well be under one of the paths. Let's see. Feral instincts. No, it's not that one. Attack, fast movement, no. Danger sense.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Retaliation, 14th level.
I mean, obviously,
and that is and that's the berserker path. So I mean, you make a good point. But by then I would have probably taken feats that up my strength anyway. So
then it becomes an option. It's like, well,
yeah,
in this fight, what do I need to do? And I'm cool with that too. I like the fact that you have a different ways to kind of build different characters.
yeah, you can make it a lot more conceptual, and still be just as effective as somebody else's concept,
Well, I'm like the master of going against type. So for generally my characters are unoptimized because I rather just build towards a theme and have fun with it.
Right. This past 2 weeks I've been very experimental with my builds since I've made a lot more. And for instance, it started with your game when I was like, oh, I'm going to be this gnome eldritch knight. So that started then, and now I'm like, oh, what can I do to make my character fun for me and optimize it? And so I've been doing different things just to see what I can build. That's not how I would play in a campaign. When I play in a campaign,
Right.
it's more of, okay, what's a cool character with certain abilities? And then based on that concept, I try to make him as good as possible within that concept that makes sense to me.
Yeah, well, with the one-shots, I mean, that's the perfect place to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
For the meat grinder, my brother's talking about a gnome druid because he
Oh,
wants
okay.
the high con and then the advantage on all the mental stats for will, and he's just going to totally dump dex and strength because he figures he'll just use the animal.
Right. Yeah, and I one of the things I want to do too, because I run the encounters out here, I want to make a bunch of characters using either the point array or the point buy, and min-max those to different things. So maybe one's a min-max to armor class, and these would be pre-gens for people, you
Yeah.
know. But I want to do like a version of almost everything that's armor class based, another version that's all like strength based, all deck, whatever it makes sense for the class. But I'll make like two variants that are different for each one. Not the basic ones, so not the ones that are in the starter set, but like your barbarian, your warlock, the different classes that not everyone's going to have access to unless they buy the player's handbook. So.
I was going to say something, but I completely lost my train of thought.
You said your brother was doing the gnome that had low stats.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? The Andrews game. I wanted to get into that game, and I was so going to go drill it just like you did. Did you go circle the moon with that character, or did you go the land?
I did, and I never switched to an animal.
Yeah. See, I was gonna. If I played that game, I was actually going to go circle the land and go desert. Just because or I was going to do a barbarian, or either that or a fire resistant dragonborn.
Because I killed this game.
I was thinking he was going to go. Okay, it's a desert game. You can't wear heavy armors. I thought he was going to totally dark sun it or something, and he didn't do any of that. But
from my understanding, that game completely went elsewhere from what he was expecting. Like, I guess the water that I did on his two flames on the pillars, that messed stuff up for him. And then I guess there were some other things that we kind of threw a rope in, like the horse coming along.
The horse was hilarious. I was waiting for Posey to roleplay making love to the horse.
I thought he was making love to the horse.
I loved it. He gave dude. I was talking to Andrew, and I said it would be hilarious if that was an ongoing campaign, and like he did all these different things to figure out how to bring the horse with him, like the aerial adventure, the underwater adventure with the horse.
What he should do? Him and Posey should do a duet game, just them two, so that Posey and his horse are the stars, and nobody else. Maybe every now and then he'll bring in somebody as like a guest star, but just it's the Posey show, and then someone.
I love the video he did afterwards. That was hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
I think I shared it on Nerdarchy the next day when he did that. I really got a kick out of it. I thought it was fun. I was impressed. I was surprised he didn't ruin the game.
Right. Well, Andrew's laid back. Like we talked about this too. Like you, Robert, I think me, Andrew, we're all really laid back DMs. Like we kind of say yes for the most part. If somebody wants to do something we think it's fun, or it might add to the fun of the game, we're like, yeah, go for it.
I think Mike Merle's put that in 4th edition Player's Handbook or DMG. No, the DMG. And I thought it was the greatest addition to the game. Just say yes. And if you think back to playing 1st edition and 2nd edition, you know what? I pretty much universally the DMs that I played with would go, okay, roll. It was always a percentile dice, And if you could drop a 00 or the 01 if they're going high or low, whatever, you could say you were trying the most outrageous thing, and the DM will let you do it. If the dice would give you the 01 or the 00. So it kind of harkens back to that a little bit. And, I kind of base the DCs on what someone wants to try to do, on how much fun it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Like, in my game, when you guys all fell into the pit with the Minotaur, and Andrew's like, I want to break my polearm. On a DC 14, it probably should not have broken. But I'm like, I want to see where this goes. Sure, it breaks. Cause
I probably wouldn't even left it to the die. I would have said, yeah, you can break it over your knee. Let's do this.
Yeah, but I said it really low, and if it didn't break, then I'd probably make something else funny happen.
Like he breaks his leg.
Yeah, instead he shatters his femur.
No, it's funny. I've told this story before, but my 2nd edition DM, when we were playing 2nd edition last winter, there was a point where we came to a cave entrance, but it was like so sloped down to it, we had to use a rope to it. And I said, because we were like trying to figure out how much rope we had. Everyone was doing all this math and doing it in the most cautious way possible. And I said, screw that. I'm taking my shield and I am snowboarding down there. And the DM's like, you're an idiot. Like, he just told me I'm an idiot. I was like, tell me what I got to roll. Come on. He's like, all right, if you can roll an 18 or better. I rolled like a 19 or something. So he had no choice but to go with it, you know. But it was like I was starting to get fed up with my group because of how slow things went, and so that was my way of just saying, let's get the show going. and
you know,
and it's memorable. They'll never forget it.
It makes me think of I think it's the Claire Quintet, R.A. Salvatore, Forgotten Realms. And he's got these two dwarven characters, Pickle and Ivan, the Boulder Shoulder brothers, and they're absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
And there's this one chapter in one of the books called Dwarven Stealth, and it is anything but stealth. And it's just them like falling down mountains and setting off traps by like walking through them, and it's just hilarious. And you know, and that's what like when you say I'm going to snowboard on my shield down the hill or down the gorge or whatever. That's the kind of thing that makes me think of it. You know, it's just like
right,
whatever. It's just a game.
See, in my head, this is how I envision it. I envision it as my fighter in that game, who was an elf with black hair, and I think he was an elf, maybe a half elf. Beautiful, because he gave us 2 extra stats.
Right.
You know, the whole sexy stat and the other one. I don't even remember what they are now.
Comeliness.
Yeah, that one and something else. So he gave us 2 extra stats. I don't remember what the other one was either. But anyways, it was like my guy's standing there while these fools are talking about, oh, well, how can we get down there without getting hurt, blah, 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 blah. And my guy's like, screw this, man. I'm Legolas, man. Just surfing down. So I imagine it more like a movie where the guy just looks at him like they're retarded and, hey, here we go. I hate saying that word. I wish I didn't say that. But you know what I'm saying.
I do know what you're saying.
So, by the way, Cheppe, we're not ignoring you. Welcome to the chat.
He's in timeout.
Oh, he's muted himself. Oh, he's making
I just
fireballs.
didn't want to interrupt. You were having a important discussion.
Hardly ever.
It was about Posey and his horse. You don't separate those two. I didn't want to come between them.
You shouldn't.
I didn't want to mess up the metonymy.
Posey might make a video if you disrupt it.
Autonomy.
But yeah, so
I hate Grill. Just for the record, I hate Grill. A brain with a freaking beak on it. I don't understand.
Is that a monster?
It is. I like the grill. It makes no sense, but I like it anyway. I also like Grix. I like weird stuff that doesn't make sense.
I like the were-rat more than I like the Grill.
Come on, dude! It looks like a scrotum with tentacles and.
I know.
So basically, it's instant death if you stab it.
What is that Japanese anime porn? Hensei or whatever. That's what they are. That's why they're in the game.
Nice.
I was half expecting kaiju because they have like a Godzilla thing.
Well,
that's actually a monster in Pathfinder is kaiju. It's affirmatively Godzilla. They just didn't cover it up at all. I was kind of hoping they would do that in 5th.
You have to add your own kaiju. Although, you know, there will be other monster manuals. There's so many things that aren't in this one. There will be others.
Thank you so much, Frog God Games, for giving me Lacrota back.
Nice.
With their 5th edition free module that Andrew sent me.
Lacrota, is that a mythological? Is it a mythological creature?
Yes, that looks. It's like a hyena with a lion with.
No, I know what it is in D&D. I mean, that's the only place I know it from. Yeah, 1st edition. I also enjoy that monster as well. They were great. I like anything that can trick the party by crying like a baby or sound like a woman in distress or whatever.
Especially if you have a pack of them and they're using they're shouting testimonies at each other that are opposite. No, you're the liar. No, you're the liar over and over again. And using tactics to try to confuse the party and try to steer them into a ravine. I love doing
That's not too hard with my parties usually.
Sorry, I love doing very evil things with the they're my favorite.
Yeah, I think my two parties in my two at-home games are very easy to get them to go. Like, you put a piece of cheese on the edge of the mousetrap, and they just go.
Yeah, well, you know what the problem is with parties like that, though? Like, they only have one speed, so they also will go right into the Dragon's Maw.
Right.
When you're thinking, all right, well, this is something they're going to turn away from, and it's just kind of like a story element. No, because I understand the mentality of the player you're talking about. Unfortunately.
Oh yeah, both my groups, the whole group, are pretty much like that. It's actually funny though. Before they went into the cave tonight, knowing vampires were in there, my wife's character was like, "I'm not going in there." It's like, no way. And everyone else is like, "Wait, we knew what we were chasing. Like, let's just go into the cave because we knew we were going to encounter vampires at some point." Yeah. So I don't know.
That's what I meant to ask you if Awkwardly Nerdy was in those games.
Mm-hmm. She's in both my at-home games.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys go somewhere else, or you guys gaming at home?
This one is always at my house.
Nice.
The other one, the second edition to fifth edition group, we've gamed at my house once. I've only ran for them twice now.
Mm-hmm.
The first game I had to tote my stuff to another house, which so far isn't a huge pain in the butt, but it could become a huge pain in the butt.
Well, you guys use a lot of terrain. You make terrain and use that stuff.
Yeah.
For me, it's
like 3 trips from the car to in the house. Because I have my miniatures, because none of them have miniatures. I have my books and papers, and then I have my terrain. So it's 3 trips.
Yeah. Like, Ted is like a fiend with that stuff. He's got a ton of that stuff. He actually got this because I gave it to him for Christmas one year, but he's actually got the Colossal Red Dragon that WotC put out, and they had
that huge one that's shooting fire straight down.
Yeah.
It looks cool, but I can't imagine ever using it. It's so big.
Well, if you ever use an Ancient Red Dragon, you need it.
But I don't think I would use one that big still. I think I would use the have you seen the Pathfinder Red Dragon Evolution set?
I have not.
The biggest one is like this big maybe. That's probably as big as I would go.
No way, dude. There's the Colossal, dude. You can put a regular mini in its claw or in its mouth. It just fits perfectly, and just putting it on the table, it just next to your guys is awesome because you're just like, oh my god, this is why we do not fuck you with dragons. Look at that thing. Look at it. You can't fight that.
What about the dragons you can get at like Michael's craft store and stuff? Have you looked at any of those before?
No. We actually have like some whites, some silvers, some blacks.
Okay. I was going to say, because those ones I like too, and I almost would want to use those as my Colossal.
Yeah.
In fact, you saw the picture tonight that I put on Facebook. That's the table we use with the leaf in it. So our table isn't very wide, but it's nice and long. It's just not very wide. So it's just barely wider than the Pathfinder flip map. So, it's just not very big. It's like, well, you saw it in the picture. You can look and judge it. But using huge things is kind of a pain in the butt.
I can imagine. Our gaming table is a pool table. Ted took a pool table and then took pieces of plywood and then built like runners all the way around so it sits on there nice and solidly, and then covered it in felt. So we've always had a really big area to play with, which helps.
Yeah. So, Cheppe, you mentioned Gothnog's cantrips in the side. Do you own that?
No, I've only previewed it.
Oh, okay. I haven't even looked at it. I mean, does it look like they scale with the spells that are currently in 5th edition?
It doesn't look like they're more powerful or overpowered compared to the other cantrips from what I've seen. and the general ideas doesn't seem like that. It's like basic things like manipulate water, like changing the shape of like water and like fixing a faucet.
Gotcha. Okay, so I mean it's pretty simple things.
Yes, it's all very simple. It's just like normal cantrips. I mean,
Are they more flavor or are they mechanic based?
Huh?
Are they more like flavor based cantrips or are there mechanics to them as well?
Both, yeah.
Okay.
Flavorful mechanics. They're everything he said they were.
Okay.
From what I've seen.
Right.
I mean, they're not like something that other people probably haven't come up with by themselves. But the fact that it's written out for you with 5e mechanics will probably be convenient for some people, so it would be worth the price of entry, I would say.
Yeah.
I'll probably end up getting it just when I actually know I'm going to start an actual campaign.
Where is he got that listed at? I'm gonna check it out.
He posted it in the YouTube RPG Brigade, but you can find it on DriveThruRPG on Critical. What is it? Critical Hit Publishing or something?
Critical Hit Publishing is his thing.
That's his company. Have you guys seen any of the previews for the DM guide?
Yes.
I
Every
just
one
saw
of them.
The table of contents was the first thing I looked at, and I got so excited looking at the table of contents. I was like, oh, yes.
I did, and then I looked at the create new character options, and it was only like 4 or 5 pages. I was like, how much can they pack in there?
Oh, yeah. It's basically like, sounds like what Tim Harper's done with the cleric. Like, hey, just substitute this in and this out and make your own domain or, whatever. That's probably part of it.
Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of room for that stuff anyway.
No.
But
that's what I'm buying it for.
Just for those 5 pages.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's gonna pay $50 a page.
Now, I'm sure it takes up way too much space in there, but it's kind of cool because it, just for nostalgia's sake, anyway. In the old, first edition Dungeons Master's Guide, they had all the random tables for creating a dungeon, where you basically would just roll up the dungeon, all the dressings, and the room sizes and shapes and all that crazy stuff. It looks like it's back.
Yeah, that's definitely what it looks like. I'm actually pretty okay with that.
I am too. I like it. I don't know how useful it is, but I think it's cool that they put it in there. They've done so much to bring back the first edition and second edition gamers into fifth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was looking at, they show some of the equipment for like the futuristic weapons, so lasers and guns, whatever. Everyone says that's stupid, but here's why I actually like it.
Because some people like to play that? I don't know.
That, and if I wanted to use the 5th edition simple system, which I'm starting to love for a modern game, I could do it. It gives me stats now. I could basically reskin stuff. There's I don't know if you guys have seen, but somebody has made robots. Robert Ogre knows of this, I know. Someone's made robots for 5th edition, so they're like a class, which is cool. I mean, you could basically make various forms of robots now to play in 5th edition. You might not use it for a fantasy game, but, or you might. It's just something cool, to give people more options to play other types of games with the same system.
Well, I want the Eberron races back. I love the races they introduced in Eberron.
Mm.
The Warforged, the Changelings, and the Shifters.
Right. Yeah, I'm cool with more options, no matter how they bring them out to me, And
technology, I was thinking Eberron, and I was also thinking I could probably port to Nobis pretty easily now, because they have firearms rules for me.
Score.
Right. I'm going to share my screen, and it has... I'm on the N-World site right now. Here's the table of contents. Okay. So, I don't know. This alone got me really excited. And I don't know why. Probably because the only DM's guide I actually own for D&D is from 2nd edition, and this blows that out of the water. But yeah, so that was one of the main things that stood out to me was like futuristic weapons, and then like you were saying, Cheppe, the customizing characters and stuff. I like that too. The idea of that. What else? I don't know. Just a lot of different things I like. The poisons. It's got a full page of poisons, full page of diseases.
Curses.
What's that?
I'm surprised curses don't have their own section.
Wouldn't that be under magic? Did you see how much magic stuff is in here?
Yeah, there's some. I was thinking that it might be. I just don't know.
Right.
That might be just covered under bestow curse though, or whatever this
It could
edition.
be. I actually haven't looked at that. Now I'm curious. They could have assumed that the incantations or whatever for the warlock or cover that.
Right.
The effects.
Chapter 6 is really short. 7 pages, basically.
What is that over?
Between adventures. So linking adventures, campaign tracking, recurring expenses, and downtime activities. Which that'll be cool, I think. That's a lot of pages.
Activities like 4 pages?
Yeah, that's most of the chapter. So it starts on 255. Linking adventures, or 125. Linking adventures is 125. Campaign tracking is 126. Recurring expenses is 126. And then downtime activities is 127 to 132. So 5 pages. And then magic items, if you look under treasure, is page 135 to 213. That's a lot of magic. Then you go
I figured there would be
magic items. Then you go into artifacts. So that's quite a bit, which is fine. I like that.
So did they give more details on attunement? Like exactly what all that pertains to?
In the DM's PDF, if you haven't seen it.
I actually haven't seen that.
Yeah, it's in the DM's PDF towards the very back of it. So I've got it right here. I will open it up to the back and go back before the...
So, Cheppe, under Bestow Curse, under the spells...
Page 59 of the DM's PDF.
It gives you a handful of mechanical things, you know, effects. And it'd be easy enough to just turn them into curses.
Yeah. Okay, so the only thing it really says about attunement is it takes a short rest concentrating on whatever you're attuning to. So, yeah, and then it leaves it pretty open to a lot of different things.
Okay. So, because it looked like they had like a specific requirement, right, for attunement for one of the magic items?
Certain magic items will require attunement.
Is it just attunement, or will there be different types of attunement?
It depends on the nature of the magic item, it says.
Yeah, I suspect for the most part it's going to be pretty standardized. I mean, that seems to be how they do things in this edition.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now looking at what you had mentioned, Cheppe, so creating a monster, your own custom monsters, is like 12 pages, or not 12 pages, like 9 pages, 273 through 282. Then creating a spell looks like 1 page. Creating a magic item is 1 page, and then creating new character options is like 4 pages. Which doesn't seem like a lot. You're right, for creating new character options. I wonder if they give certain things points, so you can try and balance it with other stuff.
That's what I was kind of hoping. At least like a notations on balancing issues or things like that. Just something to, I don't know, hint newer GMs on what the potential flaws could be of doing certain kinds of things within the system.
Right. Now the monster lists on page 302. What do you think that is?
Well, I'm hoping they list them by types in CR.
Yeah.
There's already a table for that's out, though, and it's only like 2 pages.
Yeah, well, that's a list by CR, but I would like a list by type.
Or environments and stuff?
Yeah, well, also, yeah, maybe some random encounter tables.
Yeah.
Random encounter? Monster templates? I'm kidding.
Right. Okay, so here's that second PDF. Resting and healing variants.
Explosives.
Yeah, explosive, bombs, gunpowder, dynamite, firearms, new properties, so like burst fire and reload. Like that just seems cool to me. So then it continues to grenades, and then alien technology. I mean, you could run a World War II game now with D&D. D&D rules based on this.
Orc Nazis, it's gotta happen.
But yeah, you got like, okay, so under martial ranged weapons, a pistol or a musket. So there's Civil War with the musket.
I'm all for skewering people with the.
Oh man, Shatter Realms will live again.
Shotgun, automatic rifle, a hunting rifle, revolver, automatic pistol. Those are all martial weapons, which to me seems a little odd.
Well, what else are they going to be? They don't have exotic.
Yeah, that's true. Laser pistol and okay, so yeah, futuristic. Oh, okay, so Renaissance, modern, futuristic.
Oh shit, 6x8 necrotic. What's that?
Antimatter rifle.
Oh yeah, 3 nice. I saw someone needs to get hit by anti. So I did the way back when WotC did their submission for a campaign and Eberron won, right? Yeah. So we submitted our homebrew campaign, and then I submitted a second one, which was called Shattered Realm. And the premise was that it was a world torn apart by, oddly enough, war, and basically the world blew up. And what was left is where everything takes place. So I had Psi Lords at war with Sorcerer Kings. And the space in between land masses was just like gone, like so everything was like kind of floating in like rings, and they could use a special wood that could float on the ether, which essentially through the air. And then like I had gnomes and goblins that would use like steampunk type technologies. So, like, a lot of the stuff from Eberron, I'm like, man, I think they just folded my ideas into Eberron. Those bastards.
Yeah, the antimatter gun is pretty amazing. You know how many people you'd make mad by using that?
Yeah, attack the party with goblins mounted on dragons that have antimatter guns mounted to them.
I sent some one-shots in the future.
Oh yeah, it's happening. Wait till I get my hands on that Dungeon Master guide.
Dude, you know what you got to do? You do like a Gamma World with that stuff.
Oh, you could do anything.
I know.
Anything. I love it. I love the fact that now I can play anything non-superhero related with 5th edition, starting in December. But you could then take I feel like it would be easy to make superheroes though with 5th edition. You just tweak everything yourself.
Oh,
that seems like a lot of work.
Level. Or 20th level, whatever.
Seems like a lot of work. I think I would just rather break out one of the superhero games.
But it wouldn't be. Just take spells.
Superhero game I purchased.
Yeah.
Put them in spells. I don't know.
Well, sure. Mutants and masterminds are essentially spells. It's the same kind of structure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, okay, here's something funny that everyone was saying. Oh, we're going to get more races and classes in the DM's guide. I don't see anything on that list.
Yeah,
indicates that.
I heard the rumor of Warforged.
Yeah, but where is it going to be? Is it going to be a sample of how to create your own?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
Probably.
And you do have like 5 pages or 4 pages, so it's possible they could give you a couple samples. But yeah, I don't see where else you're going to get it.
Eberron campaign setting?
Well, yeah, you're going to get stuff, I think, with campaign settings.
But that's not planned because Keith Baker is pushing hard to try and get that. He's like, I need a job. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't see where else they would put it other than creating new character options. And they might just use one of those as an example. So maybe they'll do an example for a race and then maybe for a class or...
So what do you guys think the WotC's release schedule is going to look like?
No idea.
What's the WotC's release schedule? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well,
is WotC the writer or what?
No, Wizards of the Coast.
Oh, I've never heard someone call it that.
Oh,
I think I've heard you say it before, and it never registered to me.
what the hell is?
No,
what the
this
hell
is.
are you talking about?
All I know is they're with Kobold Press, and Kobold Press has been doing stuff with them, and I want my Midgard 5th edition conversion. That's all I'm saying. It needs to happen.
I've been talking about this with other people, and I've changed my mind on it since I've talked about this last. Because Forgotten Realms is what they're going with. Originally, I said, oh, they're probably going to do Forgotten Realms, and then a bunch of other stuff. So we have books through December. So starting in January, I'm assuming we're going to get another book.
I have a stupid question.
Okay, go ahead.
What about the Wizard sites under products? What do they got listed for 2015? Anything?
That's a
I don't
great
know.
question.
I haven't even looked, to be honest with you. I mean, that'd probably be a place to go.
Well, you look at that while I talk.
Right.
So my thought was that originally they were going to do Forgotten Realms in January, and then in February they were going to do another adventure path of some sort, which I've now taken that back. I think they might do in January Forgotten Realms, and then I would not be surprised if they come out with another type of well, and I don't even think it'll be January. I think it'll be closer to February that they do another book, and that might be Forgotten Realms. So I don't know, but after that, I really don't know. I have a feeling they're going to do another. They're going to start a whole nother adventure path type of deal. So like another Horde of the Dragon Queen type of book. And they'll probably put something between that book and then another book that finishes that.
I saw accessories like the GM screen and the miniatures were supposed to come out later.
Miniatures are out.
There are? Oh, well, dang.
Yeah, it's for Horde of the Dragon Queen right now. And then it's called Tyranny of Dragons.
Yeah.
Tyranny of Miniatures. And then because then Rise of Tiamat comes out next. Actually, I think it just came out. So their second adventure book came out or is about to come out.
No, November 4th is the release date on that.
Okay. So in like a week for WPN stores.
They're showing January for the DM screen.
Now, do you think that's going to count as their monthly thing that's going to come out in January? Or do you think they're going to come out with a book on top of that?
Well, that's what I'm looking at now, so...
Yeah, I started thinking, like, what are they going to do? So right now, their monsters are all dragons. So they're going to do Forgotten Realms in February, and then they're going to focus on a different type of monster that's not covered in the Tyranny of Dragons set. So they can make miniatures for the masses. They have an adventure path that includes whatever these monsters are. So it could be something that has mass appeal is undead. They haven't done anything undead yet with 5th edition with their modules or miniatures. So I could see it being something like undead, or something like that will resonate with a lot of people. That a lot of people are going to want to buy.
Ogres.
Yeah, ogres and trolls maybe.
Yeah, it's funny because they're only showing up to January, so they're keeping it tight.
Mm-hmm.
That would be awesome. Like the year comes around, there's like 40 different settings. And they just shoehorn them out. That'd be amazing.
Here's what I think they're gonna do. I think they're gonna release an adventure path every year, which is gonna be, I don't know how many books that's gonna contain or how many. I wish they'd go back to box sets, kind of, but I guess it's gonna be the hardback books. So I don't know how many books that'll be. And then I think they might release like 1 or 2 campaign settings a year. And then I think we'll get I'm going to say 1 to 4 splat books.
Okay, so next year, starting in we'll say February, since the DM screen's in January, what's coming out in February in your opinion?
February, you know what? I'm going to go with either adventure path or campaign setting. And then I think they're going to try and do like a ratio of, like 2 campaign settings, an adventure path, and like 1 splat book. because I think in fourth they really burnt their consumers out with the amount of stuff they released. Now I don't care because I like having stuff to buy.
Me too.
So it doesn't bother me. But you know how gamers are; they're so bitchy. There was a lot of.
So say it's a campaign setting. Is it Forgotten Realms in
Friggin'
February?
gamer, man.
Yeah, it's almost how we say it. But I think they're going to go to Forgotten Realms first. Forgettable Realms, as we like to affectionately refer to it.
Yeah.
It's just so generic.
I think they'll do that too, and I think it's because it ties into the adventure path they just did. So I think that's how they'll do it. If they do what you say, they'll do like an adventure path, and then probably end the adventure path with the setting book before moving on to the next one, maybe.
Yeah, and that's fine. Because even if I don't use that stuff, I like buying it. I like owning it. I like reading it, especially if they kind of write it the way they wrote 5th edition. If they write it the way they wrote 4th edition, I don't want to own it, just to own it, because that was so heavily driven by mechanics. It wasn't interesting to read. Third edition was better. 2nd edition way better. 5th edition has a great mix for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I could see them doing something like that, definitely. So okay, so what would you were very general, and obviously none of us have any idea what the heck they're going to do, but what do you think they would do after Forgotten Realms, though?
Okay, so whatever the adventure path has to be, whatever it is. So that's a year worth of adventuring. I'm not that familiar with adventure paths. It's kind of a newer thing to me, and I've never really played them. So I'm not entirely sure how many books that looks like, or how many box
I think
sets.
It's 2, because this, for example, Hoard of the Dragon Queen and then Rise of Tiamat are Tyranny of Dragons. That's 2. At the end, spoiler alert, if you're playing this campaign or whatever, and you don't want to know what's at the end, even though it's pretty obvious, pause this video for like 10 minutes, or just come back in 10 minutes.
Mute it.
Yeah, mute it. The end of the Rise of Tiamat.
Mute it until you see this face again.
Too late. I already said it.
We'll give you the go-ahead.
So the end of Rise of Tiamat, you fight Tiamat. So
Surprise!
Yeah.
So you fight the main dragon, and that's it. So 2 books. That's all they did. I mean, but it's a lot of adventures. So
what is that designed? What levels is that designed to take you through?
I want to say Hoard of the Dragon Queen is 1 through 5.
Okay.
I want to say that, and then the next one is like 5 through 10 or something. I don't know. I'd have to look.
That doesn't sound right.
But that's based on encounters. Me looking at encounters. Encounters is supposed to go up to level 20. So maybe they will do more for Forgotten Realms. So maybe they'll do Forgotten Realms in February, and then they'll do 2 more adventure paths up to level 20 that aren't even related to Tyranny of Dragons.
Well, yeah, because at 10th level you can't fight Tiamat.
Why not? I can't imagine in one book they make you go 15 levels or 17 levels.
Well, I can't imagine it either, but I can't imagine fighting Tiamat at 10th level. Dude, it's fucking Tiamat. That's the guardian of the first level of hell. Well, it used to be, but I think they kicked her out, or she promoted her or something. I don't know what happened there.
I'll look at my encounters printout that I did, because it does talk about the schedule up through like February.
Listen, you guys remember the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, right? And Venger was like the main bad guy, and he was just a total badass, and everyone was afraid of him. But even the Venger was afraid of Tiamat. So at 10th level, you can't fight Tiamat. It just can't happen. This is what it looks like. All right, from the gate emerges, the 5 heads of each dragon, and this massive being steps out of the gate, and you're all dead.
All right.
That's what a 10th level party fighting Tiamat looks like.
Yeah, no, I get it, because that's what a 20th level party looks like fighting a Tarrasque. So I get it. Okay, so Tyranny of Dragons for Adventurers League goes from August 1st, 2014 to February 28th, 2015. So I don't know what that means. But let's see. I'm trying to look and see if it gives dates. I thought it did. Horde of the Dragon Queen. You know what? Let's just go to the Horde of the Dragon Queen PDF. And this is for encounters, the PDF is, not the book. So it's my actual encounters book. So I'm just showing that I didn't like pirate this when I say that.
Be safe. Don't need those Wizard of the Coast's enforcers coming in.
Exactly.
Hey Dave, I blame you, because well, you and Tim Harper particularly, but I've gotten the world building bug again, and now I'm like high concepts and everything else right now.
Oh, we were doing that, right? But then we decided it's really easy. If you just kind of like talk about that on your YouTube channel, all of a sudden your viewers start doing all the work for you.
It's
Did
true.
you talk about what?
World building.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like our next video is going to be like so freaking huge because of just taking all the stuff people have thrown out there, and because what we so I don't know. I guess you watched some of it, Cheppe.
Yeah.
So what we do, Juice, is we just basically have like a little bit of an idea that we have not pre-discussed before we turn on the camera, and then we start discussing ideas for building a world.
Oh, so you build it right there on camera.
Right? Yeah. Like we're
I
taking
did a
notes
video
and
like
doing
that
stuff.
before, where I had a piece of paper and a pen, and I said, "I'm creating a world."
Yeah. Well, then everyone starts weighing in and adding to your ideas, and then it's like, oh my god, the video we just did requires like 4 more videos now.
Right.
And I'm
So
sure
it's
you
actually
appreciated
great
all my
for
comments.
So, okay, so you guys know this PDF is like 30 some pages, not counting the monsters at the end.
Uh-huh.
It's 18 sessions, and it's 1st through 3rd level. So the next one, the Rise of Tiamat, cannot be 17 levels before you fight Tiamat.
No, it can't be. And I'm on the site now, and I'm looking, and it doesn't say anything about levels like they used to.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, because, you know, it used to, like, this is adventure for 4 to 6 players of blah, 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 you know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. So, okay, so there's 3 episodes. How is that 18 adventures? Must be broken down really small. I know each week is supposed to be 2 hours.
Well, maybe that's why. I mean, they're short gaming sessions. Like one of the sessions is you go for a loaf of bread, and then you got the loaf of bread, and then you're gonna need some lunch meat and cheese, to put on it.
Well, here's another thing that's weird about this that I didn't think. I've never ran an organized play thing. They give you random encounters in this. So, for instance, and I can't say too much because I'm not supposed to. There's 8 different random encounters that can happen at this first part, and they vary in what you're facing.
Look, one of them's Tiamat.
No dragons. But no dragons there. A bunch more.
No, it's
pages.
a dragon born that named himself Tiamat.
Yeah.
Yeah. With multiple heads.
As such.
Yeah, like, I don't know how, looking at this, there's no way I could get 18 sessions out of this. No freaking way. Like, okay, episode 1 is literally maybe 2 weeks, in my opinion. Looking at this. Maybe I just am not understanding it right. Oh, okay. I'm not. Okay, so there's like 3 paragraphs for each week, it looks like. Some of them are a little longer, some aren't, and that's the deal.
Well, I'm finding like
That's easy.
A good online session, which is equivalent to probably the encounters because they're shorter sessions, is like 3 or 4 encounters.
Yeah, no, this is a paragraph. Like, okay, whatever, I'm just going to show it even though I probably could get in trouble, but I'll show it for an early one. So, Old Tunnel, I think that's the first one, right? You see it right there.
Okay.
the bottom.
Yeah.
It goes up to the next part at the top of the page, and then it just goes down and then tells you your rewards. So that's all, the whole thing. That's 1 week. So I mean that's more than what I prep for any session. But it breaks it down. It tells you any like foes, anything that's gonna stop them that needs like checks, and then it tells you rewards. And then background info real quick. And there's no like RP stuff in it, so it's kind of up to you to to say, okay, this is where you're at. Boom, boom, boom. There you go.
You mean you got a dungeon master? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, they're automatically there because each week it leaves off where they're at. So
Right.
okay, so before it gets to the old tunnel, they're at the keep. The characters are the last group through the gate. Boom. So they got through the gate. Then the old tunnel. A narrow tunnel runs from the cellar beneath the keep to the bank of the stream. So they start exactly where it left off. There's no downtime right there, which is weird because there's supposed to be downtime rewards after each week, which I think is like 10 days of downtime each week, which doesn't make sense right there, especially if they were like, well, I'm going to cash in my 10 days now. Or I want to go buy stuff before we go down this tunnel. You can't do that. I mean, realistically. But the way Encounters is set up, they can do that. So yeah, so then they go through the tunnel and stuff. Then the next one is they're at the port. And then they're at the port of this keep, and there's more stuff that happens there. You know, so it's just like all of this stuff in theory happens over the course of like a couple hours in one day. Yet the way Encounters is set up, it's, I don't know. Maybe I'm misunderstanding that, and if somebody else knows, I know what's his name? Justin? Is that his name? Who plays in some of our games and stuff sometimes?
Oh yeah, Justin, the DM Viking or Viking DM.
Yeah, Viking DM. He, I know, runs Encounters. Maybe he can explain it better to me, but that just seems a little odd to me, which I'm fine with it. I understand it's like they're taking an adventure path and trying to make it so people can play through it in weekly installments. But yeah, I don't know. I did hear that this early on does not allow short rests, so I know that too. And that you can play more than one section each week because there's an option if you beat it early, there's stuff you can do as well, according to the PDFs. But yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting. I don't know how we got. Oh, so we were talking about how many books they would do for an adventure path, though.
Yeah.
Tiamat can't be, according to the book, and if I'm looking at this correctly, it just can't go very far. Like it's got to be like a 10th level thing.
You know what? No, the problem is we lost AJ. He's got the Dragon Horde.
Horde of the Dragon Queen?
Yeah. So he could fill us in.
That's true. That is true.
Because that's basically half of the puzzle right there. But like I don't know, like the starter set's supposed to take you to like 5th level, right?
Yeah, I don't know how that works either.
And that's pretty beefy, man. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, but it's smaller than Horde of the Dragon Queen. So Horde of the Dragon Queen can't take... maybe this PDF is only through November, or through October. And maybe I'll get another one for November and another one for December or something. I should log into the site and find out. But I don't know.
Do either of you use map programs for world building?
I do not.
Nope.
Okay.
I used Photoshop and then hated how it came out, and so I moved it to Paint and ended up with what I have, which is not anything good.
I keep going. I have to at least do the basic region where I'm in and haven't done anything yet. I'm theater of mind in that shit. Bow!
You just scribble it on some paper. This is what it looks like.
I haven't even done that, to be honest with you. I'm like, this is here and this is there. And
your players don't care.
Not really. It may even change, like if I have to describe it more than once. Like I
Yeah,
thought
'cause
you
you
said the
forget.
mountains were over that direction. Yeah, maybe.
There's more over there. They wrap around.
They move.
Yeah.
It's magic.
This city is in a channel between the mountains.
This city is conveniently on a ley line that distorts reality very closely.
All right, Cheppe, now you're getting too smart for me.
Yeah, well, that's actually not too far from some of the crap we're working on anyway.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
ley lines.
Yeah, well, I can get in on some ley lines. Oh man, one of the guys, Christopher Evans, I think. He sent us. He's doing like all this alternate magic stuff with astrology and planes and planets and stuff. And I
Yeah.
think it's like 30 pages or something. It's like, I want you guys to look at this for me. And I looked at it and saw how much it was there. I'm like, oh my God. I'm sure it's interesting and all, but I'm like, this is a lot. Everyone wants to send us, they always want to send us their stuff to look at. And I'm just like, I want to, I just don't have enough time. It's like, I'd have to stop creating content in order to look at their stuff.
Huh. Apparently we're lagging really bad according to people commenting on the video.
How many people are watching?
It says 1, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 comments.
Are they all that were lagging? Are they doing anything useful like
It looks
answering?
like, actually, you know what? It's 3 people complained about 30 minutes ago to 8 minutes, to about 10 minutes ago that we were lagging really bad. We sounded like demonic robots.
Yes.
And yeah. Drunk robots. And then somebody else said we were evil voices.
Hello.
You usually have to pay extra for that, don't you?
Something like special effects.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what they're calling it nowadays?
That's
Oh,
what I
okay.
call it. Special
Okay.
effects. Yeah, it's not lagging for us in here, so I think there's
Yeah.
a slight delay from when I talk and see myself, but
I don't know. Seems pretty good on my end.
Yeah, I think that stuff evens out after it goes up too, though, doesn't it?
it processes afterwards, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe watching it live over
Sucks.
YouTube makes
Yeah.
it suck. Yeah, I don't know. But if you're watching, feel free to comment and tell us what you think Wizards of the Coast is going to do starting in February. And if you guys have the Horde of the Dragon Queen book, tell us what level it goes up to. And then if you have or are getting the Rise of Tiamat book, tell us what level that goes up to so we can clear this up.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll know unless there's a preview in the
When
Horde of
are
the
you-
Dragon Queen.
I think Rise of Tiamat came out because I saw someone has a preview video online somewhere.
Well, it's not. I don't think it's out yet.
There is a guy with a video of it, of a review of it. I'm gonna find it in my history real quick. I'll plug
Okay.
his channel. He gets a lot more views than me anyway, so it won't matter. Where is he? Dang,
I'm
I
gonna
watched
give his channel a boost, even though he's twice bigger than me.
even though he's got all of my subscribers and a ton more. No. Man, I watched a lot of freaking videos in the last few days. Jeez, oh, geez, a lot of Nerdarchy coming up.
Yeah, Rise of Tiamat, November 4th. We're still in
I don't
October.
know how he has it then, because
He's-
there's like footage and everything of it. I should probably just try and search for the video. It'd probably be quicker.
Yeah, it'll probably come up.
Yeah,
as-
this is like all 1 week ago. That's not gonna work. Rise of Tiamat review.
Do you think there would be spell point rules in the DMG by any chance?
Nope.
Gamer Goggles, Canton, Ohio. Flip through Rise of Tiamat. So there's one flip through of it. Somebody else did a flip through of it, and that's not the one I was referring to.
You should just show that video during this one. We'll just talk over it.
Oh, can you do that? Let's try it.
There's a way to show videos from YouTube on here.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna try it like this.
We're gonna try.
Can you see my screen?
It's like the.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Through Friday, Rise of Tiamat. And I will mute it because I don't want to hear that and you guys. And here's an advertisement that has multiple people watching it.
Oh, Gamer Goggles. He's the guy that does a lot of not just tabletop RPGs, but like board game stuff too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's in Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I wonder how he got it already.
Because he's got a channel that probably, let's see, 817 views already? I don't know.
Oh, you know what? I wonder if it came out early, like the books do.
I'm sure it does. But it's only 1 week. It's not. So if it comes out November 4th, then it shouldn't be in stores yet.
It would be like 11 days.
Yeah, that's too early.
The other ones would be like 11 days. So if it comes out the 4th, which is a Tuesday.
He filmed this 3 days ago. So this is 3 days old.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's it. There's somebody else who did one as well, and I don't know how they got it early.
Oh, game stores get it early.
Not that early. The store I do encounters at only gets it like a day before the early release, I believe.
When I picked up the Player's Handbook and the Monster Manual, like they got it like 11 days early, and like whatever day they said it was coming in, that's the day it actually came in on, because they didn't tell me that, and I went early and I had to wait around for like a couple hours for the books to come in, and I felt like the biggest loser waiting for the UPS guy to show up so I could buy my book.
Yeah, that's the thing I ran into as well. The store that I do it at doesn't get it early. They get it same day. They don't open till noon though, so they actually do get it right before they open, which is kind of nice.
Well, they didn't open till noon either, but they still didn't get it until like 2 o'clock because it just happened to be. Well, yeah, it depends when their UPS gets there, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. Because I got my starter set, I think, the day it came out. Maybe I didn't. No, I didn't get the starter set the day it came out. The only thing I got the day it came out was the Monster Manual. And actually, that one was at the convention, but it had to get there from the game store. And it was at the convention same day it came out. So it had to have gotten to that game store that morning, or a couple days early, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
I just ordered mine all off Amazon. Once I got a good Amazon deal that was going on.
Oh.
20% off everything and free shipping. Done.
Right. See, I just want to go and get I want the miniatures so bad. Like, I need to win the lottery so I can just buy all the miniatures.
So, I know like one of the big complaints about 5th edition has been the price of the books, but I almost feel like part of that is Amazon's fault, because it's like they have to mark it up so high in order to have Amazon as a distributor.
Oh.
In order to...
See, I think it's cheap because I've spent more for less. So, for me, it's actually pretty good. It's better than Pathfinder.
Yeah, but their core book is huge for Pathfinder.
That's true.
Big.
It's really huge.
And I'm not complaining. I don't actually care.
I don't care.
I'm just saying that's the complaint that that was out there a lot.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right.
I actually prefer the smaller books, in all honesty.
I think it's perfect. I really think just looking at the Player's Handbook and the Monster Manual, because that's all we have really. Yep. I think going back to the starter set, I stand by what I said from day one with the starter set. It's, if you want a module, it's worth it. If you don't want or an adventure path or whatever, it's worth it. If you don't, it's not worth it. And sure, it's cheap. It's not as good as the Pathfinder beginner box. I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care if you're trying to compare, dollars to dollars. You're not getting as much bang for your buck, even at the lower price with the starter set from D&D as you are with the beginner box from Pathfinder. You get twice the amount of stuff in the Pathfinder one, and it's less than twice the amount of the price.
And I can guarantee you adventure paths for Pathfinder are probably going to be even more.
Yeah.
Caliber.
Well, okay, so the beginner box from the Pathfinder Pathfinder. Not only do you get 1 extra die of percentile, you also get 2 adventures, plus there's free PDFs for additional adventures of
Plus
like 4 more adventures.
Free online support already, because they had their own version of a wiki.
Yeah, the PFSRD or the SRD.
Yeah, everything's up there. So
yeah, but see, starter set also has free stuff with the basic PDF and then the DM's guide as
I'll
PDFs.
tell you what you didn't get in Pathfinder. You didn't get that nifty spacer.
That cardboard spacer. No, you're right. I got a flip mat, and then I got a bunch of pawns,
dude.
And then I also got instructions on how to create adventures with their DM's portion of the guide.
And you got like an hour's worth of adventure, and you paid like $35. I paid $12.
No. You're going to Amazon prices. You go to Amazon prices for Pathfinder's beginner box, you're only at like $22 or something stupid.
$26.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Okay, starting with that. Since we're going with Pathfinder's adventure thing, you get the 1 hour adventure that's in there, right?
I don't actually know. I just made up a number.
No, it's fine. So I said it when you were gone, but I'll say it again. So you get the 1 hour adventure that you just referred to. You then get the second part of the adventure that's in there as well, except it doesn't break it down into details. It just gives you the map and gives you the rough idea behind it. Then there's 4 adventures online that are free to be used with that. So you have 6 total, almost 1 hour adventures. So you have 6 hours of gaming there. Right?
Plus all the free monsters from all their bestiaries.
You know the starter set's probably about 20 hours worth of gaming.
Oh yeah, well, and it gives you extra monsters. It also gives you the starting city of Sandpoint information and like 10 seeds that you can make your own adventures off of. That could stem multiple sessions, however you wanted to do it. Some of them more so than others. You get you get magic items, which you get magic items in the starter set. You do get more in the Pathfinder one. The pawns, like I said, the flip mat, the one side that's completely blank, which I still use to this day. You get an extra percentile dice that you don't get in starter set. And then you get DMing tips in the book. And then character sheets, extra character sheets. They don't share an advertisement on the back.
Well, those paper stock miniatures are really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than paying extra for the plastic, you get like 80 miniatures for like what, $20, $15?
Yeah, even just using them, like buying it for the monsters, is almost worth it. It's not, but you know what I mean. It's a good bang for your buck. You're getting more per dollar than with the starter set per dollar, in my opinion.
I didn't buy the starter set for 5th edition for obvious reasons. I was waiting out, seeing if the system was to my liking.
Right.
Why don't you think there's going to be spell points in the DMG? Why do you got to crush my hopes, huh, Juice?
What are you talking about?
Never mind. They'll be in there.
Yeah. I don't know.
Spell points?
Yeah, I love spell points.
Did I ruin that for you?
Yep.
How did I ruin that for you?
I'm going to cancel my order now. You should...
Oh, shut up. You're going to buy
destroyed.
it. You're going to buy it in hopes to use laser weapons. Instead of spell points.
Hopes that I get spell points and to use firearms. I don't want laser weapons. Thank you very much.
Why don't you just make your own spell point system? A first level spell costs 1 point. Second level spell
then
costs
I
2
don't have
points.
to do it myself.
Well, you could probably use the sorcerer's points as a basis.
As a basis, maybe it would be a lot of like retro work.
Sure, of course it would be, but
I don't
think they're.
Dude, that's
they're
why
not...
I hope they have it in the DMG, is so I don't have to do it.
Cheppe, I already did it for you. Listen to me.
I don't have to wait for someone else to
Level
do
1
it.
spell slots cost 1 point. Second level spell slots cost 2 points. There you go. There's your spell points all the way. And then you just look at the chart. If it says 4 first level spell slots, 2 second level spell slots, that's 8 points that you can divvy up however you want. It's super easy.
It's already done.
Chart.
It's actually done under sorcerer. First level spell slot costs 2 points. Second level 3. Third 5. Fourth
See, they
6.
just did what
Fifth
I said
7.
basically. They just changed the number by 1 point.
And then your spells known, or your first level you'd have 4 points.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I know nothing about the sorcerer class either.
I love the sorcerer. I love the fact that they brought back origins or focused in on origins.
So sorcerers don't use spell slots, really?
No, they do. They
They
absolutely
do, but it's more point based.
Nope.
What do you-
Points is okay. Here's the deal. As a sorcerer, you get sorcery points.
Right. On
You can
top
use-
of your spell slots, right?
Yes.
Right. So you can use those sorcery points to either gain more spells or augment your spells. Or I'm allowing in my game the nuclear option, which is you can trade all your spells for sorcerer points, and then convert them back into at second level you'd be able to get a 5th level slot. Now you wouldn't have 5th level spells, but you could augment something if you could do a 5th level magic missile or whatever.
And a lot of abilities are based on.
So like, yeah, that would be cool, actually.
You'd be like burning all your spells in one spell. So that's why I refer to it as the nuclear option. I think it's far less effective than just casting spell after spell, but
You should do a video just on that as like a house rule. That would be a good video, I think. It doesn't have to be long. It would be one of your shortest videos, but it would be good and useful.
well, maybe we'll do after we compile a few of them, just do our house rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do like one house rule per video and talk about how it's used or something.
Yeah,
That'd be
we
cool.
could do one house rule, and that'd be like an hour of Nerdarchy babbling about who knows what we'd end up really talking about if that's what the video's about.
I'm stealing your nuclear thing.
Nice.
I'm totally stealing that because my wife's a sorcerer in our 2e to 5e game, and
And you just
I
want to
think-
tempt them. You just tempt them like, you want to use it all at once? I'll let you.
Can they do that for their abilities?
yeah, and the idea that I think that it would be my wife and our wizard both hold their spells in that game for boss battles. It seems,
Yeah.
and I mean it's smart tactically.
Do you mess with them and just don't give them any boss battles?
Yeah, I don't think they've had any major boss battles really.
Hmm.
It's like, okay, you fight a bunch of goblins and there's one that's wearing better armor. Like that's a boss battle so far at these low levels.
So they could take their chromatic orb and make it the one-shotter from hell.
You're right.
What is the chromatic orb? Does 3 die 8 as a 5th level? You would make it 7 die 8.
Mm-hmm.
But it's far more effective to cast chromatic orb 5 times than it is to. But hey, sometimes you just need to one-shot somebody.
Yeah. Okay, so I got an answer. Horde of the Dragon Queen goes up to level 7 according to the book. Also, they said they think when I'm looking at something on my screen, so when I share my screen, it starts to lag.
Probably.
Most likely, yeah. So
Interesting.
Horde of the Dragon Queen goes up to level 7. So if you go, well, that would make more sense because I would think closer to 15th level, you might want to rumble with Tiamat.
Yeah. Yeah, so then I'm trying to find. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so level 7. Yeah, okay.
I was just added to a group, RPG Philosophy. Sorry.
I'm surprised you weren't in that group in the first place.
Posey just made it.
Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Sorry, that was
like I said, though, I'm surprised you weren't the first one in it.
Sorry.
So this is who will be in that group. It'll be Cheppe, Posey, and SR2 Joker.
And
Well, they need to get.
You're off
need
by
to-
one. Robert's in it.
Oh,
They
Robert,
need to
man,
get a thespian in there.
you
Not-
sell out.
Not Robert Ogre, Robert Waldo.
Oh, he's in everything, so it doesn't matter. If it says anything RPG, he's there.
Hmm.
Oh man. So,
Which
are any of you gonna try to test out anybody else's homebrew content that they post on their channels?
I mean, I check it out if I think it's good. Yeah, I do quite often. I like world building videos. I've always kind of liked world building videos. I like the fantasy tropes. Then when people try to go against them, I take inspiration from those sometimes. But not a lot of people do videos like that.
Yeah, we
What?
got some ideas we're kicking around. We're doing this thing where like the chaos realm is kind of bleeding into our world, and it like infuses certain areas with chaos magic, and so it can cause like different things. It may be like a temporary thing, but like we want to do like have like crazy prospectors like follow these areas around, almost like storm chasers, where they try and harvest the materials.
I think that's a cool idea. You kind of did that in our game, right? With us going into the maze.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
is-
it's part of that was part of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I
is
like
the Chaos
it.
Prospector a background?
Well, that would actually be a good idea. So I think what we're doing is actually it's going to be new to the area where we're starting. So, it may have been happening in other places. So we'll kind of introduce it during play, and that would actually be an awesome idea for a background.
Now, is this what you guys are world building in your videos too?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we also have chaos locations that have actually been infused with so much chaos magic that they've actually become permanently affected. And so what happens is instead of moving around with the storm or whatever, the areas themselves may move. Like, so there may be a grotto that is in the Underdark today, but tomorrow, it shows up in the center of a town, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think I've watched the first 2 world building videos you guys did. Because I watched them both before you had before we had played that game. I watched them that same day, and I felt like I was cheating as soon as I had heard you said in our private messages, it's gonna be this as the background, and I was like, oh crap, I'm listening to that right now in this video. But
I don't
luckily,
think
it
it
didn't
affected
really
much.
matter. Yeah, it didn't make a difference that I noticed.
You still had a Minotaur land on you. That's all that really mattered.
Yeah,
It's
I
a good
did.
day.
That's not a
When
good day.
Minotaur lands on you.
I guess
But-
if I get a statue in your world of my character, I guess it's okay.
But luckily, the blow was cushioned a little bit by the human landing on him first.
Excuse me.
Good times.
Gotta make sure I save my map, because I was working on it while talking to you. I'm trying to make sure.
Yeah.
Is that what you listed up in the chat? What you're using?
Hmm?
What do you? No,
What?
that was not you. What are you using for world building, or for map building?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm just using Paint, like, because I'm trying to find another program. So I've been asking for recommendations.
Photoshop, GIMP. GIMP is free.
Pyromancers. What is this? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so GIMP is free, and there's tutorials for how to make on Cartographer's Guild for it, I think.
Robert printed something up here, and I'm looking at it. Looks kind of cool.
Yep, it looks.
I don't even see it.
What's it called?
Oh, yeah, the Pyromancers thing. Aw, don't comment. Wait till I click it. I lost it again. Okay, there it is. Okay, click. Okay, now you can type in the chat again.
It's free. Robert says.
Free. I want to pay for it. How do I pay for
Probably donate.
it? It looks
Maybe-
cool. I'm gonna.
Maybe they have a Patreon account.
Uh,
Oh, that does look good. And you could make your own, like, so you could basically make a map and print it for your table too.
yeah. You know what sucks? Recently I started running everything from my laptop,
Yeah.
but now we're recording the sessions, and I'm recording the sessions from my laptop.
It slows it down bad.
No, I don't do both at the same time. I just.
No, I know, but putting all the footage on your laptop, eventually it'll catch up with you.
I don't keep it there. I put it. I put it on a hard drive.
Oh, and then just upload it straight?
And I put it on my computer, and then when I process it and everything, I move it to the hard drive,
Mhm.
and then I delete everything off off my laptop.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
delete the
Carol?
videos after I upload them too, but
Oh, that's a mistake.
to delete them?
Yeah, you should keep them somewhere. Because if you
I got them kept on YouTube. I know it's not secured because they could always change their stuff on you. And,
delete your account.
yeah, delete my account, freeze my account. But even when they disable your video because of copyright and stuff, it's still there. So you can actually download it back.
Mhm.
I had it happen. I used to do car videos.
Yeah.
With all my buddies and their Trans Ams and Camaros, and I put some music over doing crazy burnouts and crap like that, and they ripped one of my videos down that I had put tons of editing time into and made it awesome and everything.
They weren't impressed.
They were very impressed enough to catch it. And then they took it down, but I could still get to it.
Yeah, I just want to say on air, thank you, Robert Ogre. I like this. This looks really cool.
Is it do it through the site, or do you have to download something?
No, it looks like you do it right through the site.
Oh, perfect.
I just started clicking stuff.
I'm clicking maps at the top and seeing what happens.
Dude, just click where it says 250 plus.
Oh, okay, I'll go back to that. 250 plus.
Yeah, I think just click that and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Robert says it's online.
Yeah, that's what happens when you click maps, too. So that is really cool. It's a little pixelated, but it is pretty darn cool.
I found a few free maps. I'm just still trying to figure out, because I actually wouldn't mind if it was like a $30, $40 thing to pay for one.
You could, in theory, I mean, it reminds me of Zelda, the very first Zelda on NES.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, but it's cool, and you could very well take this, get it printed, and put on those cheap banners, whatever the cheap banner website is, and pay like $20 for having this printed out for your table on
What I
like
was thinking.
awesome material.
I was also wondering if my
3D printer.
Why do you need a 3D printer for maps?
You need a 3D printer for everything.
You don't need a 3D printer for a 2D map.
Do you realize how long it takes to configure those friggin' things?
No idea.
Wow.
Oh, quite some time. It's calibrating those things just to do a friggin' little shark plastic nub. Useless.
I don't know. I got to see one today, and I was very impressed.
What they can do, yes. The amount of expertise it takes to get them to do those things, not so much.
Well, that's why I just want to have the guy do it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to work the machine.
Some of my favorite maps on here are like the woods with the pond, or like the boats. The more generic things that you could use over and over again.
Yeah.
I don't like the ones that are really specific on here. Okay, so
screen
they
share?
have different road paths. What's that?
How do I screen share?
There's a green. If you go to the top left, you'll see a bunch of buttons show up, and screen share's the second one. But there's some really cool paths that I like. Coastline with the fire, that's cool. Hang on. I'll present yours to everybody. Oh, dude, that looks sweet for paint.
Yeah, that's what I made with paint, and so I was wondering if it would be worth printing that.
I think so. You know what? Let me show you what I have done in my game that is garbage. Oh, here it is. It's right in front of me. So I'm going to present mine to everyone. I like yours a lot more than mine. This is what I've printed for everybody. It's just black outline. I have brown triangles for mountains, and the red dots are cities. And the purple diamonds are mines.
Looks perfect to me, Juice.
It works. So, okay, so this is what's going on. Up here is, whoops, it's up here is where my 2E to 5E game is going, and my casual encounters game is going. So they're playing. I'm running them both through the same thing. My Pathfinder group to 5E is playing over here, and I plan on fully fleshing this world out with many games over the next year, and just eventually typing up all my notes. And all these people will end up being legendary characters in this campaign if they survive long enough. So I don't know. And then it'll just always be my homebrew world that I continue to grow on and learn about.
See, I would like to do that, but not in the D&D fantasy. I really want to run a different game. But I have like a bunch of dream project worlds, like 4 or 5 of them, and so I'm just working on those right now, all of them.
Well, you got the one-shot group to do them.
That's true.
I've heard a lot. This is something that's been bothering me about the one-shot group. I'm just going to vent. I've had so many people complain that it's a 5e only group, right? All of these people who are complaining about it aren't offering to run any other freaking games. Like, they're not offering up like, yeah, I'll play, or I'll run this, or I want to play this. They're just complaining that it's a 5e group and it's not, instead of being proactive about it. Freaking gamers.
Yeah, freaking gamers.
See, the thing is, I got the Stalker camp. I'm already doing one. I'm doing Stalker.
Tuesday.
But
I guess the problem is people want, like, oh shoot. I guess the problem is people want I don't know, they want to play in the games, they don't want to run them.
Yeah, but they aren't even posting up like, hey, looking to play in this game as a one-shot to see if I like it, or hey, I want to play in this game just because I feel like playing this game. It's not happening a lot, and which I could care less really. But don't complain to me that, oh, we need to rename it the 5e one-shot group or whatever the heck people keep saying. It's just silly. Because it's not just 5e. I mean, we've played so many other games. You know how I tried for years to get people to play Palladium books through Hangouts, and all of a sudden I've played in like 3 different Palladium games in the last month or 2 months, not even 2 months. So, and Palladium has like 1,000 fans total. So, no, it's got more than that, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, part of it though, I think, is you just got to be the trailblazer sometimes and make it happen. Because someone did that first game, and then all of a sudden the other people are running the games. For the one shot, I guess it was AJ Pickett that ran that game, and then,
was he the first one? I don't even remember now.
I think he was with the Heroes Unlimited. His Guardians of the Galaxy.
Was that the first, or was it our Outcast game?
Well, I'm saying first Palladium game.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Here I am bringing it back to D&D. No.
But no, I think the Outcast game was the first one. Well, you started the group and you wanted to play 5th edition, so.
Yeah. So I ran it like the next day or something, or the next week.
Robert says yes for Palladium.
The price tag is amazing for Palladium books. Their hardcover Rifts book is like $30 or something, $35. And then their normal books are like $20.
Like, I'm looking to do Mutants and Masterminds, so I'm not looking to have someone else run it. I want to see that game ran, so I'll run it. It's just a matter of when I get around to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, what the group's about. Just in general, you can play or run whatever you want. If there's enough people interested, you play the game.
And as long as it's 5th edition, you can play whatever you want.
Yes.
I've seen people post about wanting to play or run 5th edition and not fill their group for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I've actually seen that quite a bit. So
a lot of people have also been looking for permanent groups in the one-shot group.
I'm fine with that as long as they're playing games and only looking to find people to play games. I mean, really, yeah, it's a one-shot group, but if you come in there looking for a campaign, that's fine too. Maybe you'll find some players. As long as you're playing games, and that's all it's about is finding players to play games, I'm cool with it.
Well, a one-shot is a perfect game to lead into a campaign. If you guys have a good time and everyone gels, why not do it again?
That's what happened with not the instigators. What are you guys called? The provokers.
Provokers, yeah.
Yeah, for Fistful of Dice. He didn't even post that in the one-shot group. That was, I think he just sent a thing out to a couple people he wanted to try.
That was a private invite. That was only for the special people.
Well, I was surprised that he even knew who I was. I was like, oh, he sent me a message. Okay. Yeah, but no, he wanted to try giving new people that he hadn't played with a chance, I think. And so, like me, Tabletop Terrors, before he had done videos, Nate from WASD20, who's got like 200, at the time he had like 150 subscribers, and then Be a Better Game Master. So it wasn't like, the big 1,000 subscriber people. It was, us lowly people.
I'm getting to 50. I'm getting there. Yeah.
Don't worry, Cheppe. Once you hit 50, I'm sure you'll up your production values and sell out like the rest of us. No, I'm just kidding. You'll start doing 5e videos all the time.
Start doing monetizing everything. Will be perfect.
You don't monetize?
No.
Okay.
I have one advertisement, and that's from music I used from the YouTube thing. Their catalog, right? They'll let you use their music in exchange for advertising it. So I was like, sure. It was sitar music, so I was like,
Really?
Because
I
like
didn't know
sitar.
they had that deal.
It was for my trailer.
Wait. So how does that work?
You just, when you edit your video on YouTube, after you've uploaded it.
Okay.
Because it's like Video Manager. You can edit audio, and then you can click Add Music, and there's a whole database of free music that you can use.
There's free music you can download from them.
That too.
Because I've downloaded music to use in my videos before. Do you have to do something different though?
No. I didn't.
You just have to be able to monetize the video.
They have the database is right there. You just use it to. It's just as simple as like dragging and dropping the audio track onto the video.
Oh, okay. And so then it monetizes your video.
Yes, for them.
Promote that band.
It monetizes. I think it might not even monetize. It's just it adds a banner ad for that band. I think what it does.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Robert says it monetizes.
Gotcha.
Oh, Robert's telling me to monetize.
Yeah, you should. Why not, right? I mean, okay, 50 subscribers, that might be
$3.
Yeah, a year. You're not going to get rich off of it unless you really, really are getting up there in views and things like that.
It might help you get that external hard drive.
Yeah. Yeah, I might.
I'll finally be able to store my videos.
Yeah. Long after your computer has been fried from too many videos.
Yeah.
Too many fun videos.
Well, we're closing in on 80,000 views on our channel.
I just hit
We'll have
30,
that within tomorrow. We'll have 80,000 by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because we're at 79 some, so.
I don't have a lot of views for my subscribers and the amount of videos I do. I'm at 30,000 views, I think, and I did not monetize until like 8,000 or 9,000, I think.
Yeah, we waited a while. We actually just started doing it recently. Before we started monetizing. But
Yeah.
hey, actually, I got a Nerdarchy exclusive for you, Juce.
Oh, okay. We are on live. I don't know if you want to do it on here, but
Right here on Juice.
Yeah, that's why I said exclusive, man.
all right. What is
So,
this exclusive?
Come. I already talked to you about it, but come January, I go and I'll probably be laid off from my job. My season ends, so Nerdarchy plans on running a lot of games. We're gonna be doing some during the day, because that's something that I don't see happening at all. Daytime games. I don't know if it's because there's no availability or interest,
I'm
or just
available.
no one's running them. Yeah, I'm available. Nerdarchy Ted's available. So there'll be some Mutants and Masterminds going on, along with 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. I don't want to break up the 5th. So
I'll play them both.
With you.
I've been trying to get people to play daytime games for a while. That's when I usually film my videos. So, obviously if I'm playing in a lot of daytime games, I'm not going to be filming as many videos or editing as many videos. But whatever. Hey, I'm playing in some games, and every now and then they're ending up on my channel, so whatever.
Well, that's it. I mean, there's no
It's
reason
fun.
why. If you're playing a game, pull it down and put it on your channel.
I don't. We're gonna have to talk because I don't know how to pull videos down off of other people's things. So
I think there's free software you can get online.
I think it's illegal though, is the main issue. But obviously, if you are saying, hey, pull our gaming video off of my channel of us gaming together and do what you want with it, I think then it's fine. But technically, I think that's illegal.
Yeah, but not if you have permission.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know.
I just gave you permission on video.
Yeah.
I've grabbed videos that only if I've appeared in them, but I always ask permission.
Right. Yeah, and that's the big thing. Like I could care less. If you guys want to take my video down of whatever it is and put it on your channel, just put a link to my channel, and I am perfectly happy getting the free promotion.
and that's what I do. Like I just link everybody, link to everybody's channel. And then what I'd like to do is do like a little intro video ahead of time, so that I can tell people that the link to the channels down below.
Hey Juice, did you read that?
What? The Cthulhu?
Yeah. So there you go. We got some.
Yeah. D20 Cthulhu tomorrow. I am a Navy SEAL, I think. And that's, I believe, he changed the time as well. It's not 6 p.m. anymore, or 5 p.m. for you. It's, I think, a couple hours later because I said I couldn't do it that early.
I thought Robert had family coming in or something.
Oh no, but I think he pushed it to 8 o'clock for me. So that would be, I think, 7 p.m.
There was like 4 questions in there, and Robert just went, "Yup."
Yes. He has family coming in, I think, is what he's saying. Yup to.
Yeah. Man, I wish I could. This weekend's been so busy. I gotta actually spend time with the family now.
Yeah, I need to do a better job at that.
Work responsibilities.
I'm so caught up with my own YouTube channel. I've been neglecting sleep and other, like right now it's 4 a.m. or is it 4 a.m.? What time is it?
It's going.
It's almost 4 a.m. You know, so yeah. Shoot me.
Everyone's in different times.
I was actually going to go to bed early tonight, but then Juice messaged me on Facebook. Like, oh, I wanted to do a live chat, but nobody's around. Nobody likes me. My friends aren't around. Blah blah blah. I'm like,
first of all, I did not say that. I did not say that. Juice has no lack of self-esteem here. I'm just saying it right now. I know I'm loved.
You just said no one was around, and I'm like, I'll talk to you.
Yeah, I sent a message to David, AJ, Andrew. I think that was it because I saw their names in my chat. I don't scroll my chat bar down, so if they're not in that first initial part, I don't even look. And so I'm like, oh, okay, boom, boom, boom. And then all the other people, it was like, eh.
Well, we briefly had AJ, but then the koala bears took out his ESL lines or something.
He's been having a lot of issues when he comes into these chats with that.
They gave me the image of a koala bear just like biting through his electrical cords, like his power generator.
And then it looks at you while it's holding onto the tree.
Hilarious.
But yeah, and I have no idea what to expect with this Cthulhu game. I know nothing about Cthulhu really.
Oh, yo! Since you brought it up, you said it was D&D, but look, I don't know. Can you guys see that? You see that? I just got this.
War Cthulhu.
Yeah, I just got it. It was a Indiegogo that I backed, and I was like, I'll throw in $15 for a book that I would have bought anyway. It's the only horror that I actually like. Like, I hate the Splatterhouse, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger bullshit.
I love that stuff.
Yeah,
That's how I like my D&D games too. Hack and slash.
I like, dude, I like Cthulhu. I like, Poe. I like, I'm the Andrew Knapp of horror.
Like Stephen King.
I like, I like the off camera kind of stuff.
I like Pet Cemetery by Stephen King. I like the movie at least. I don't know about the books.
Yeah, I don't really read much horror at all. I think the most horror that I've read it's all been Lovecraft.
Gotcha.
But but going off of what I've read, I just have very little desire to play a Cthulhu game because I'm like, well, like Cthulhu, like the best case scenario is you spoon out your eyes and pierce your eardrums, I think.
And that's mechanically into the game?
No, I don't know, Juice. I'm just saying,
Oh,
like,
okay.
if you go off of what
I don't know what to expect. I always hear people say, "Oh, you're gonna go crazy by the end of the game." Why the hell am I gonna go crazy by the end of a Cthulhu game? I don't understand. So I need to find out.
Oh, because Cthulhu is the horror that makes you go insane. It's not like the thing about Cthulhu is dying would be like a pleasantry. That's like the best case scenario is you just die.
Okay.
Like the things that like Freddy and Jason, like that kind of stuff, and Chainsaw Massacre, like that's
Right.
like it's like a picnic compared
Okay.
to the Cthulhu stuff, because the Cthulhu stuff is basically you just see things and are exposed to things that you're not supposed to be exposed to, and it just breaks your head.
And that's represented mechanically, though?
Yes.
Oh, I have no idea.
Think of sanity as like a health meter.
So you
And so-
roll like a d20 or something, and this is what's
Something like
happening
that.
to you, kind of?
Yep, something like that. And you can become permanently insane, your character, so it becomes unplayable and you have to make a new one.
Gotcha.
So, like, in the similar way your character can end up dead, your character can end up permanently insane.
Okay, so that makes sense. That
Have you
sounds
ever-
interesting.
Have you ever seen the movie Through the
Nothing
Mouth of
freaks me
Madness?
No.
I've never seen the movie.
That was I guess that was back in the 90s. That was an awesome movie. And that if you were to watch that movie, that's like the perfect way to describe the Cthulhu and what it does to you. And at the end of that movie, you don't know if you're seeing a crazy world through an insane man's eyes or an insane world through a sane man's eyes. And that kind of like is a synopsis of Cthulhu.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, as long as there's something that tells you this is what your character is doing, like insane wise, because it takes I shouldn't say I'm impossible to freak out or whatever, but it takes an extreme amount of stuff to freak me out at all, even the slightest. Movies don't mess with me. I mean, anything I read doesn't mess with me.
Just don't try to go gun-ho, because that doesn't normally work in a Cthulhu game. Just saying that right now.
My guy's
like-
a soldier. He's gonna go gung ho.
Yeah, it's not a monster killer game.
No, I know, but my guy's a soldier. He's going to try
You'll
and
probably
attack.
die.
I'm cool with that.
Right now. Okay.
I like that.
Hey, Robert, have you seen Through the Mouth of Madness? I know Robert's a horror buff.
ears, man. I don't know how all you guys wear headphones all the time for these.
It just hurts my ears.
Doesn't it make it itch too?
It says yes. He has
Yeah.
seen it.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, so I definitely plan on being a little gun-ho tomorrow in the Cthulhu game. And we'll see how fast I can go crazy.
What's your
Have you
backup
watched the
character?
Black and White Call of
I
Cthulhu?
don't have a backup character.
I have not.
Oh, I liked it. I love it. I love cheesy old black and white movies.
How come Cthulhu doesn't have a movie right now? Like a modern movie, like right now, awesome high effects, special effects movie.
You know what? Because I don't. Here's the weird thing about
You
Cthulhu.
need an
Like,
awesome director, probably.
you do. Cthulhu has a huge following, right?
Mhm.
But most of those people, if you go, hey, what's your favorite story? They'll just look at you stupid because they don't They haven't actually. They just know the name and vaguely know what Cthulhu is and what it looks like. And to them, it's like another kind of like kaiju almost. But if you actually read the books, it's way different than that. It's really delving into the human condition and the whole psychology behind the horror. It's completely different.
Okay. Speaking of which, you know what freaks me out is heights, and then the idea of the deep dark ocean. Those are the two things that I think would freak me out, like in real life.
I love
Like-
swimming in the ocean, but I'm always convinced I'm gonna get bit by a shark.
Yeah, it's not even that. I think it's just the idea of at the greatest depths of the ocean, you have only a fraction of an idea what's down there.
Dude, see right there, Juice. That sums up Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
it's that primal fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
Or the
Ah,
deeper fear that you can't know.
there was a movie that started my fear of the ocean. I watched like 2 years ago on was it Netflix? It's they're like a bunch of people on a boat, and then like they all go swimming in the water, and then they can't get back in the boat. I can't
Oh,
remember.
Adrift. Is it Adrift? Or something?
Yeah, yeah. We watched both of them, 1 and 2, and that messed me up.
Well, even that in a
It was
sense
'cause I
almost.
had my daughter at that time. I think it was the one where she sets the baby down or whatever,
Uh,
and then they go dive in the water without putting the ladder down.
yeah, I didn't actually see that movie, but that kind of harkens back to, if you think about it, the first Jaws movie.
Mhm.
I forget the captain guy, but why he won't wear a life preserver, because he was in the water for however many days, watching everyone drown or get eaten by sharks. But it's the same. It's the same concept.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That it's not the idea of getting eaten by sharks though. It's the idea of drowning, I think, or being pulled under and drowning. I think that's the worst thing.
Have you used that in any of your D&D games?
No, I don't think I would. Okay, last Monday I kind of did the water thing in a cage. They dropped into the water while in a cage. But yeah, no, I haven't really tried to.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would make for some interesting stuff. It's not really just the fear of being attacked by a shark, though. It goes back more to that fear of the not being in control. Like,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
bobbing in the water. Like, okay, so you represent it from your representation of that is drowning, right? Where
Mhm.
mine is something that you can't see attacking you.
Right, and you can't fight it off because you can't see it.
Right.
You just feel it, like
This-
boom, hit,
this-
boom.
This gets to my biggest bugbear about D&D. Can I have an RPG confession here?
Sure.
Yeah. Exclusive. Juice.
Exclusive, live. Cheppe Pepe hates dark vision. Why do all races have dark vision? It bothers me to no end, because you would think that would make so many encounters more interesting, because you could play with them happening to manage light sources to be able to see the enemy in order to fight them. It would make
hate light
creatures more
sources.
threatening.
Yeah.
I don't get why we have to hand every race dark vision like it's candy. That always bothered me. I can't stand it.
I
You know-
agree with you because I don't think elves should have it. In fact, I only think of the playable races, maybe.
Orcs, half orcs and dwarves.
Yeah, and half orcs I think is even stretching it because I don't even view them as subterranean really.
Well, orcs are.
Yeah,
Even
I just
subterranean, I would I prefer to limit it to low light vision, not even dark vision.
Well, that's I kind of regret they got rid of the low light vision, and then my biggest pet peeve is it's real weird. Like, so you have Dragonborn in 5th edition that
Mhm.
don't have dark vision. Like, and of all the races that scream dark vision to me, Dragonborn scream dark vision. Yeah, because they're like dragons, right? But then you have the half elves who have the same vision as an elf. I'm like, you couldn't even lowered it.
right.
So it's like, since I've heard people come back, well, it's all or nothing because that's what they did. I'm like,
Then get rid of
no.
it.
I'm like, no, because the Drow have they have superior dark vision, so they could have made inferior dark vision if you're going to go that route. But again, I would have liked them to bring back low light vision.
I am fine with not having low light vision, but like you were just saying, half elves, in my opinion, maybe they shouldn't have any dark vision. They're just like humans with their vision.
I might limit it as my homebrew house rule. I'm already coming up with house rules.
Everyone's blind.
No, the only race that would have dark vision probably would be dark elves, and that's only because they have low light sensitivity. Or if I do have a homebrew race with dark vision,
Make it an option, but you have to take light sensitivity.
Yep, you have to have a very decreased handicap.
I like that. That I think, and it would depend on people's settings, just like any racial thing.
Because I like making darkness a scary thing to do in combat.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I have a giant owl and you can't see it, that CR starts rising rather quickly.
Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
This is blow off time. Who's actually running the Cthulhu game tomorrow?
I don't remember.
Robert, do you know?
Is it Ian?
Because I actually thought Robert was running, but then I'm looking at the site.
Okay, whoever said it's Ian.
Yep, he said it's Ian. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I have no idea what to expect. I was hoping Frank Fry would run it for the longest time, but he hasn't really been that active in there, and hasn't seemed too interested in running it. So, just got to move on and find someone to run it, and we did.
He's a big Cthulhu guy, right?
Yeah, I thought so.
I saw a couple of videos. He's been active with his videos, though. He's been shooting videos.
Yeah, he's been active with his blog. I think he's just doing more in general at home. So, I don't know. But, no, what I was going to say about the whole Cheppe Le Pepe pet peeve about everyone having that light vision and how cool it is to have to hold a torch. I freaking hate light source management in games. To me, it's almost as exciting as ration management and ammunition management, and I don't know.
I didn't necessarily mean like rationing out oil supplies to keep your lamps going.
Oh, I know. But then so your fighter that you've put all this time and effort into, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever weapon he has, okay, say it's a greatsword. Well, now he's limited with his greatsword because he's got to hold a stupid ass torch. Your sword and board fighter is limited because he has to choose either a shield or a sword. Almost anything is then really extremely limited. But then all the monsters you go up against are not, because they all freaking have dark vision underground.
Well, here's the other problem innately with
wizards with light spells. You can just set a big torch in the ground. You can have a fire.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like everyone has the cantrip light, pretty much.
They cast light on a pebble today and threw it ahead into battle, so it worked in my game. I allowed it.
Yeah, well, that's what I would have done. I've done that before.
Yeah, I allowed it. I've allowed my players to cast it on their shields or their breastplate or their sword, and they say it's supposed to be difficult to fight because it's moving around, but I don't care. I'm like, no, they can see.
Yeah, that's why I strictly cast it on my codpiece.
You just want people looking there. Compensate. You're not used to people wanting to see it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but
it's the most important part of the armor.
Yeah. So why? Okay, Cheppe. What is so exciting about the light source management? If they're all going to do it anyway, and have a torch or
it's not
cast
about
a light
that.
spell.
I understand where he's coming from. It's about what I believe what Cheppe is saying is by everyone being able to see in the dark, you take away the fear of the dark, the fact that someone can turn your lights off,
Mm-hmm.
Someone can extinguish your torch, someone can dispel your light spell, and that's a visceral primal fear of the dark that mankind has had since the beginning of time. It's something we've always tried to take away, the dark.
Right. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I meant from also an encounter design standpoint. It can make a weak monster really threatening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it could make holding down an area and filling it with light more important, because if something is coming after you, it's going to come after you, right? It's going to attack no matter what.
Yes.
And so the strategy changes from running after something mindlessly to holding down an area that you've lit up properly so you can actually be able to fight this thing. And once it actually comes into the area, like the challenges change. If the light source is threatened in a room or it's only in one part of the room, but there's dangers getting to that light source, then they have to think around getting the danger and balancing that out with the risk-reward of dealing with the creature.
And then the other thing too is anything carrying a light source is then a beacon,
Mm-hmm.
for whatever's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it's a target for everybody, and yeah. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I know what he's saying. It's just it creates more interesting options.
Yes,
Yeah,
and if the creature has
creates
light
variety.
sensitivity,
Yeah.
you know.
But even light sensitivity is kind of a joke because it's like direct sunlight. So like if you're fighting in a forest or it's overcast outside, it doesn't even come into play.
So sad.
And you can't blind them with a light spell. I don't know if there's a daylight spell like there used to be.
There needs to be.
There used to be sunlight or daylight or something.
If not,
Yeah,
that's the first spell I'm homebrewing.
What level would it be, Cheppe?
Third.
That's
Third? I
it?
thought it was-
Daylight third.
Is it in there?
It is in there, and it's a third
Okay.
level spell. I just went off of previous editions, to be honest.
So how does that
Okay.
work? I'm going to look up that daylight.
Just more limited.
Is that a pretty powerful spell?
If it's third level, it's got to be decent. Well, duration's an hour.
Yeah, that's
60
pretty good.
for each sphere light spreads out. Choose within range. The sphere is bright light. Sheds in light 60 additional. So it gives you light out to 120 feet, basically. On a
Dark
radius.
vision spell's cool. Touch a willing creature and give them dark vision. Lasts for 8 hours. That's interesting. Yeah, and daylight is pretty sweet too. So either or would be awesome.
So it doesn't say it's the equivalent to sunlight, but I would go, it's equivalent to sunlight since it says daylight right in the name.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have it hurt a drow's eyes or anyone with sensitivity. I'd put them at disadvantage. But yeah, dark vision's just as good. In fact, if my party had dark vision as a spell, that would be amazing.
And it is one of the few spells you can actually layer.
Yeah.
I mean, they stripped that right out of this edition. So there was a debate in, I think the D&D Next one group, and they were talking about, who would win? Is it a 3.5 wizard or a 5th edition wizard? I'm like, are you guys on crack to even ask that question? The 3rd edition wizard smokes a 5th edition wizard.
Mm-hmm.
They're just the sheer volume of spells that they get is enough. And they're like, well, 5th edition has counter spell as a 3rd level spell, and you can cast it as a 9th level spell. I'm like, great. Well, after you do that one time, and your third edition wizard still has 6 spells left from 9th level.
Yeah. So the wizard, sorcerer, ranger can cast dark vision. The druid can cast dark vision. So that, and like I said, it lasts 8 hours. I'm going to try and convince my druid to get the dark vision spell so I don't have to worry about light sources. Screw you, Cheppe. Everyone has dark vision now.
So Cheppe, you've just instigated the thing that you don't like.
I know.
Campaign.
This tends to happen quite often for me. I don't know why.
I just hate the idea that, because then I have to ask them, right? I have to waste 5 minutes in game for each combat. Okay, so what are you doing with where's your light source and what are you doing with it? Every time. You know, because otherwise they're just swinging away, and I'm like, well, where is your light source? I don't know. Like, you know.
Well, I meant more like dramatic moment. Suddenly it went out. Now you're all at disadvantage.
Right.
You're gonna have to scramble to figure that out.
Advantage. Because this is 5th edition.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, yeah, you wanted that feat, so now you can't see in the dark.
Okay, so I found something interesting reading Dark Vision. Dark Vision doesn't actually make you see as well as normal vision in the dark. It makes you see as well as light vision or low light vision.
Oh, does it?
Low light area.
I didn't even look.
That's what it said. And so I'm wondering if that means...
it's not as good as dark vision?
No, I meant like dark vision makes you see in the dark like as if it was low light. And so I'm wondering, what's the penalty for low light, particularly? It's a lightly obscured, so what was that, like a -2 to a roll? -1?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think you'd just be at disadvantage.
I thought
No,
disadvantage was
see.
heavily obscured.
Yeah, disadvantage is if you can't see an object.
Yeah, but I didn't think there was really an in-between.
I think
thought there
there
was
is
3
for
levels of
obscured.
obscuring, and it was the same
Well,
rule
there's
for
3
terrain.
levels of cover.
3 levels of cover. I thought there's the same rule
Yeah,
for
so the
obscuring.
max cover is you can't. It's disadvantage entirely. 3/4 cover is a 5, and then the other one, half cover, is a half, I believe. Or is 2, I mean. But let me double check. I don't trust myself yet with all this, so.
So I'm seeing bright light, dim light, darkness.
You look at that. I'm looking at the cover stuff. 'Cause
Okay, lightly obscured means you have disadvantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight, if it's lightly obscured.
Yeah, I'm on the lightly obscured stuff too. So that's lightly, heavily obscured.
Yep, lightly obscured.
Is blinded vision. Oh, so you were saying they had dim light though? So dim light's further down.
If you read under dark vision, many creatures, a creature with dark vision can see darkness as if the darkness were dim light.
Yeah. So dim light is different than lightly obscured.
Well, that it does
it
the
says
same
such
thing.
as dim light. Okay.
It's probably one of those left open to interpretation things.
So that's stupid though, because it says if you can't see something in other parts that you just have disadvantage.
Mhm.
Okay, so heavily obscured. Let's look at blinded condition because I have not had this come up in my games, and I've just been rolling with dark vision as normal.
Or you can just passe the whole thing and just say you have enough light in any situation. Anyway.
Yeah, because I hate these things, to be honest.
Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, a blinded creature can't see and automatically fails any ability check that requires light. Attack rolls against that creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. So yeah, that sucks. So what would be a sight? Any ability check that requires sight?
Wisdom perception.
That's how it words it in here. Wisdom perception.
No. Oh, you mean any
I'm just
ability
trying to
check that
think of-
requires sight?
Yeah, it says wisdom perception. But
That's
yeah,
a open to interpretation thing. Any skill check that you as a GM would dictate, like grabbing your weapon, like a spot check, like a sense motive kind of thing. Wisdom perception, a
Attack roll.
attack roll. If you think
But
that line of sight is required for a spell,
oh, I guess sometimes you could. Yeah. Okay.
depends. I think
I
that
hate that, man. This ruined how I've been running
they
it.
word certain things intentionally vague to leave it to house ruling.
Oh, it's not even that. It's that dark vision. Okay, so everything that's had dark vision to this point, I've been like, no, you can see in the dark.
Well,
now I'm like, maybe you can't see in the dark.
Well, you can. It doesn't affect actual combat. What it is going to affect is their ability to do.
It's at the very bottom of that page. So yeah, as though it were in dim light.
Yeah, no, I saw that. But where did you find the lightly obscured?
It's
It's
in
on the
the
previous
top
page.
division and light section.
183,
All right.
and then dark vision's at the very bottom of it, on the bottom right.
Oh, okay. That's why.
But yeah, you read lightly obscured, then dim light, then read dark vision down there, and basically you find out that I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
Well, yeah. So dark vision. The only thing that happens in dark vision is they have a penalty on their perception.
And they can't do anything in. Oh no, you're right. Yeah.
So they can fight and do everything else normally. It basically for detecting stealth.
hmm I'm gonna put the vision and light on my screen. I think that I made, so that I don't forget to do that next time.
I think I find that one of the toughest things about 5th edition is the fact that it's so rules light. When you do need to find like a clarification, it's like you're chasing all these red herrings for rules that just aren't there anymore.
Right.
I like that though. In all honesty, I
I love this
I
game.
do too. It just takes like retraining your brain because I've been brainwashed by 3rd edition.
Oh yeah, I've had people trying to lawyer me, and
there's
like
a
it
blog
drives
post.
me nuts because it's always an interpretation type of the like if you read it word for word, it's a complete interpretation, and they're like, no, it says this, and I'm like, kinda. You could also interpret it this way. Well, they said that it has to be done this way.
I mean, how long was 3rd out for? Because I mean, we played from the beginning until 4th. So.
Like 8 years, 10,
Yeah,
10
a long
years,
time.
8 to 10 years.
that's a lot of reprogramming.
Fourth edition was out for what? 4 years, 3 years?
Not long.
Yeah, not long at all. I really just need to read this book again.
Did anybody else think they were taking a shot at Paizo a little bit when they did the alien technology as a specific goal?
I felt like that because of what Paizo just came out with, and that was like one of the first things they showed. But wasn't it in first edition too?
It was. That stuff was in the early DMGs.
So I don't think they are, and I think it was in the third edition as well, people have said.
Yeah.
So I don't think they were taking a shot, but yeah, I thought like it felt like that, even though they're not.
To be honest, this will be the first DMG I've ever owned.
Yeah.
Fifth.
I think that, hey, I think it's cool though. And you know how they have like the variant rules for using a grid? I do not do like the what is it? And here do they even talk about diagonals? Like diagonals, I count as 5 feet as well, just to keep it simple. I don't do the every other one is like 10 feet or something. But
yeah, I'm still gonna have to get used to all the possibilities with how they worked out the actions.
wait, why did Robert Ogre say that this was weird?
I don't really know.
Maybe because he wasn't able to talk and only type?
Yeah.
This was weird and insightful.
Have you looked at the jumping rule? Like the jumping actions?
No. What page is that?
That's right on the same page. The page before.
I think it says something like "Don't try."
It says "Don't try."
No,
Yeah.
okay. You don't jump very far.
No.
I had my players today wondering if they could jump over a 20-foot chasm.
Well, they have
Okay.
separate rules for if you're standing or if you've moved at least 5 or 10 feet by the time you jump. And
Well,
they
that's been in since 3rd.
Okay, so if you're doing a standing jump, you can jump 5 feet. But if you're running, you can do 10 feet?
Oh, you mean forward?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out. So when you make a long jump, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score. Okay, so you have like an 18 strength. You could do a jump of 18 feet.
As long as you have moved at least 10 feet before that.
Okay, so the only person that would have possibly been able to make the jump tonight would have been my fighter. Possibly.
And that's if they did it. They still have to make an athletics check, don't they?
Yeah, that's what it says. DC Strength 10 athletics check.
And when you land on difficult terrain, DC 10 dexterity. And then high jump is 3 plus your strength modifier if you move at least 10 feet.
But that's probably pretty realistic.
Yeah, it is.
Actually. Well, I've never seen somebody jump 18 feet.
No.
Straight in line. How far do long jumpers jump?
That's a good question.
Would that be comparable?
Not really, because they're trained to just long jump.
Right, but I'm just wondering if it's comparable in length to 18 feet. Like, are they close, you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking they probably hit over. I mean, we can find out easy enough.
Look up the record for the world's longest long jump.
Some jumps are over 29 feet and 4.5 inches have been officially recorded.
Okay, so then the 18's probably pretty legit.
Just instead of long jump world record, 26 foot 8 inches. That was not broken for 25 years and 2 months until 1960 by Ralph Boston at the 1968 Summer Olympics. Bob Beeman jumped 29 feet. So yeah.
Screw Dragonborn, he was Frogborn.
Yeah.
What are they called? Wollops? The monster. That should be a playable.
Bullywugs?
Bullywugs.
That was it. Bullywugs. I've never used them, so I don't know.
I've used them like 3 times in the last few weeks, and it's awesome.
Juice loves them now.
I do. I'll probably never use them again now, because I won't be able to find a reason to. Actually,
make him a playable character.
Actually, I will be using them because David here gave me an idea to have a large frog swallow my party, and it didn't happen in any of my 2 times I've used them. It will happen next game, but it's not going to happen by them being swallowed by it in combat. It's going to happen by me giving them way too many bullywugs to fight off, and every single one of them's final blow is going to be non-lethal. And then they're going to wake up being in a belly of a frog, and you're going to hear, and it's going to be super dark, and then all of a sudden they're in front of the king bullywug, which is going to be a slod or slade or whatever.
So when you get swallowed by a bullywug, you get trans-dimensionally transported?
No, you got to use a giant frog.
Okay.
And even then, it's only supposed to be small. But because they're going to be unconscious, because I'm going to put like 40 bullywugs on them, and they're going to have nowhere to run because they're going to be circled, and I'm totally railroading this so I can use this. And I don't give a crap what you people watching think of that, because it's awesome. Yeah, they're going to wake up. It's going to be completely dark and slimy. And then they're going to be spit up. They're not going to have any of their gear on them. And then they're going to be prisoners in the bullywug cave on a swamp.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Think about that. Like, you are spit up by a giant frog, each person individually, in front of King Bullywug. Tons of bullywugs in there with no weapons and armor.
I like it, man. You're preaching to the choir.
I think it's sweet. And then they get put in a cage, and obviously your best bet of getting out of there is your sorcerer or your wizard or whoever has cantrips. You know.
I don't know. I'm a little leery. It depends on which party which group you're running this for.
2E to 5E. My bitching group.
Yeah.
My whiners and complainers. They're gonna and the main reason
it may end in domestic violence. I don't know.
I'm doing this because I know my cleric and fighter couple.
Yeah.
Are gonna throw a fit when their characters hit 0 hit points and everybody else drops 2. I know it. It's gonna be great. And I'm not even gonna say make a death saving throw when it comes up to their turn. I'm just gonna skip them, and then afterwards they're gonna go, well, we're all dead. Let's all make new characters. And I said, no. This is what's happening. It'll be like, oh, okay. I'm trying to get the one character or the one player to shake the idea that 0 hit points is final. And it's this heartbreaking experience every single time.
0 hit points is just a destination that we have to visit a couple times per session. That's all it is.
She gets so stressed out, though. She does. She gets pissed and stressed. It's so funny.
How many times can a person be knocked down in a single day? The life of an adventurer.
I've seen it happen twice to a character so far in 5th edition. Before 5th edition, I've only killed one character. Since 5th edition, I've had people drop to 0 and survive quite a few times.
Realistically, you would have adventurers by like 12th level would have had like MMA fighters
Dementia.
So much head trauma they would be slurring their words every time they talk.
They'd be punch drunk.
Yes, they
talk like Mike Tyson.
Well,
have you heard them talk? Like MMA fighters?
Yeah.
Guys, they can barely speak at times. You can tell they're searching for the words in their head and they just can't form them.
Yeah,
but that's kind of what gets me about like some of the players that were upset about the healing hit die and that kind of thing, because they're like, well, that's not realistic. I'm like, realistic? You think getting stabbed 6 or 7 times in a fight is realistic?
Taking a short rest and being okay with it is realistic.
Well, no, forget the short rest. Stay hurt, right? Like, let's go back to like 3rd edition, right, where you get stabbed.
Points.
When you're getting stabbed over and over again for 3 to 4 fights a day. Like that was their realistic. I'm like, okay. I mean, have you ever been in a real fight? That doesn't really work that way.
No.
You don't. Even just if you look at even just like a really strenuous workout, it takes you several days to shake that, and that's not someone stabbing you over and over again.
Yeah.
So the way they represent hit points now is how I've always viewed them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was, I don't know if it was written into the rules in 2nd edition that it was like that or not, and they kind of like moved away from it, but it's always been like more your stamina than your actual health. In 5th edition, it's like you hit 0 hit points. Now you've actually taken a wound, a real wound.
Okay, guys. So I have a question for you.
42.
Prone.
42 is the answer. I am
Prone.
this.
An attack roll against a creature that had an attack roll against the creature has advantage. Oh, if it's within 5 feet. So if it's not within 5 feet though, and someone's prone, does that count as cover?
In previous editions, like if against ranged attack, prone was good. Against melee attack, bad.
That depends. What
Right.
terrain are you in?
Right.
I would consider like the terrain to be cover.
For some reason, I thought you had not only advantage to hit, but if someone's unconscious, do you get an automatic crit?
Yes, and that's well, it's worse than that.
Does it say you get an automatic hit?
Is it an automatic coup de grace?
What happens is they automatically fail a death save.
If they get hit, but yeah, if they're already unconscious, this is an automatic crit. Falling unconscious. You fall unconscious, this unconscious, and if you...
Oh wait, you get one of your 3 death saves knocked off automatically?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you get hit at all while you're down, that's 1 fail automatically.
It's bad.
But if you get critted while you're down, that's 2. Right? Because I would assume so, because if you roll a 1 or a 20, it's a 2. It counts as 2, either direction.
So, Juice, do you try to use those same rules and apply them to NPCs?
No, I don't use... If they drop, they're dead. Unless they say non-lethal. I ain't got time for that shit.
Nightmare. But if you really wanted to make that encounter difficult, he's got 2 more
gotta hit
death
the dead
saves,
one
bro.
at least 2 times.
And then he's got like a whole army of healers.
Yeah. And then I'm fudging the roll behind the screen saying success, success.
At this point, everybody's a zombie. Well, yeah, but even after you pass all your death saves, it takes 1 to 4 hours to get up.
Yeah. It doesn't say that it's an automatic crit if they're unconscious. At least I don't see it. And I thought that's how I've seen other people try to rule it. But no biggie. I'm not worried about it.
What was the Ranger's other path other than Beastmaster?
Hunter.
Hunter. I've never actually looked at that because the only thing I keep hearing about is Beastmaster, and I've been so busy looking at the Warlock because I love that class.
Warlock is good stuff.
I haven't looked at it.
The Beastmaster gets boned, and the Hunter is really good.
Is the Hunter just range and traps? I'm assuming.
No, it's actually kind of a mix. Like, you have different options you can take.
Oh, bards. I love bards. I love these bards.
Ooh, Cheppe. Posey makes maps.
He
And
does?
dragons.
Huh?
He responded to you, Cheppe, in the brigade, saying, "Tell me what you want, and I'll make you maps, Cheppe."
Oh.
So now I'm gonna start hounding him for some maps.
He offered me first.
Hey, whatever. I'm jumping in line. I'm taking him up on it first.
Well, it depends on the actual quality of the maps we're talking about here.
Or the type of maps, like
Yeah,
if it's
I know,
a
right?
map, or if it's like a
Posey, it might be the intestines of something. It might be
something like that.
might be a nudist art gallery. I don't know. It could be any number of things.
Right. Oh, no connection. I gotta.
His sense of humor.
Right. Where is it? Dang. Yeah, I need to read up on all this stuff though. Like I feel every day I feel like every time I'm looking through this book I'm like, oh, I know how to play D&D 5th edition. And every time I'm going through it I'm like, man, I don't know squad. I keep messing something up.
I'm looking at the death saves and dropping a 0 hit point stuff here, right? So on a crit you suffer 2. And well, depending on your level, though, you might be dead from hit points anyway. But I guess what I would do an auto hit and have them roll the die. If they roll a 20, it's a crit. If not, it's just a regular hit.
Yeah.
So basically, you want your champion to do all of the killing, because they get a wider crit range, and
My champion NPC, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was so surprised my fighter went Eldritch Knight tonight.
Oh.
When he went 3rd level, I was like, really?
They get some cool stuff.
Yeah, but we don't have a
throwing weapons.
step for him. And we have a druid, a rogue, and a cleric. So you got 2 kind of spellcasters. I mean, kinda. And then the rogue, which I guess is kinda a fighter, and he's the only outright fighter. I was just expecting champion, but
Yeah, well, I don't know. The Battle Master's pretty sweet too, but no, the Eldritch Knight, they get mobility. I think of the 3
his
fighters.
guy's not a
that's their
mobility guy though. He's a strength-based greatsword wielding fighter.
Well, that's my point exactly. So if you can teleport 30 feet in someone's face, that's mobility. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. It was surprising.
Right? Great sword.
That's not reach.
He doesn't. It's not a reach. Huh.
Nah. There's got to be a pole arm.
And only some of the pole arms, according to the polearm master.
Nah, all of them. Just quarterstaff,
Quarterstaff doesn't have reach.
but it's not a pole arm.
I know, but it's under polearm master.
Yeah, well, that's a gimme.
Have reach. I don't see why it wouldn't, like, realistically, because you use it in real life like you would a javelin.
Because a quarterstaff is less than 5 feet long.
Yeah, there's different kinds of staves. I mean,
Oh, okay, maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
The longer staffs
I was
tend to
thinking of
be.
like body length long.
Which is still only 5
Yeah.
feet, though.
Yeah, you know your standard bow staff is like 5-6 feet, but I think like in some of the kung fu martial arts they have dragon staffs which are much longer and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, so here's one that came up the other day. Polearm Master, since we're talking about it. I have a Druid, like I said earlier, that was going to do Shillelagh for the 1d8, 1d8, which you can't do 1d8, 1d8. It's 1d8, 1d4. But he's going to have a shield for the extra armor class, right? And one of the things he said he was going to do is use Polearm Master. So, would you allow that double hit with one hand on the quarterstaff? Or is it a two? It doesn't say in there that you have to have two hands on the weapon.
Well, no, you don't because it's versatile.
Right. So, are you going to allow a character to hit twice, once with one end and once with the other end, with one hand? Now, I've seen crazy stuff with martial arts that does that, so it's not completely out of the question, but doesn't that seem a little odd, I guess?
I think it's more odd that you're using the weapon one-handed.
Right, a quarterstaff?
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying. It gets done, but usually they're more of a transition when they're going from one hand to two hands than wielding it one hand.
Right.
I think that was their balance consideration, maybe, to make it more useful, because you could.
See, I think they should have made it a two-handed weapon outright.
And added reach, because that makes more sense.
No, I don't even think they should have done that. They should have made it a two-handed weapon so you can't use a shield with it. And then if you chose to do it as a polearm master, you could hit twice. If you don't do it with polearm master, well, too bad. Now you just have a quarterstaff that's a two-handed weapon, and you can do the max damage there. Yeah, you have a long stick that you do the 1d8 damage instead of 1d6 or whatever.
I still think it needs reach. It's Cheppe homebrew. Already brewing.
Homebrew, man. You can brew it all you want. It's your homebrew.
I know.
It's your house.
My
Make the
with
rules.
darkness and my passion for quarterstaffs apparently become evident.
I'm considering in my home games making a quarterstaff impossible with a shield. I guess is where I'm leaning.
Definitely, that's what I would. In my mind, it's strictly two-handed weapon, but I would also add reach.
Yeah. It's just weird unless it's a buckler shield, which I'm gonna have to homebrew a buckler shield for a +1 armor class anyway.
I had a player try and pull. Can I use a bow and a shield? I'm worried about my low armor class. I'm like, I suggest cover.
Right.
Just cover.
Cover is really good though. In
It
this
is.
day, because if you get full cover, disadvantage means like statistically you've reduced like you're pretty good.
I haven't had anybody use cover in my games intentionally.
Would you consider hiding behind a tree full cover?
Yes.
Because if you
But they can move
It all
to get a
depends.
view on
Yeah,
you.
no, but if they're trying to attack you head on,
Yeah, that's full cover.
Maybe it's either full or 3/4 or half. It just depends, really.
It depends on the
Size of
size
tree.
of the tree. Yeah.
And if it's melee or ranged.
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe
I
my homebrew race with fawns is a little bit too powerful then. Because one of
it's named after your YouTube channel?
well, actually, I'm doing a series for homebrew races for 5th edition
Oh, okay.
called Reimagining. You know, I was reimagining the races. I do a short story, and then it goes into me doing aspects like me reinventing the culture and how I actually understand the biology and the culture of this particular race that I think is underrated. In my first episode's fawns. And then I have the character options. But in the character options, I gave them this thing called Terrain Strider, which basically makes them immune to any attack disadvantage that a terrain causes.
Right, okay.
The given terrain that they select as their home terrain. And so if they're in the forest, that means they don't get disadvantage from attacking someone in cover. That might be a little powerful. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that would be.
because there's feats that do that.
Right. It kind of just depends on.
They get it in one kind of terrain, and they don't really get much else. So I'm not sure. They're really powerful in one sense.
Well, but it's not really powerful unless your players use the terrain to their advantage. And I have yet to have players that really tried, except for a rogue who could use the hide action. And he wasn't doing it for cover. He was doing it so he couldn't. Well, I guess he was doing it for full cover only. But that was it.
So they could sneak.
Yeah, so he could use a disengage or shoot and then hide from behind a tree like 20 feet up.
Well, gentlemen, it is very late or very early, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm wrapping up here too. So, thanks for joining me for my chat, though.
No problem.
And thank you, Cheppe, as well.
All right.
I'm gonna end the broadcast here.
Sounds good, man. You guys have a good